You are listening to a Dynamic Works Productions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show.
What's going on, everybody? If it's going on at all, because nothing matters ever. What kind of cheese do you eat?
I like all cheese. Like, there's very few cheeses that I will turn down.
What's your brand of cheese?
Oh, brand? Tillamook.
Yeah.
Tillamook. If I'm going
Good.
for, yeah.
Good. That is the correct West Coastian answer.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I have been getting fucked with by my Tillamook cheese. I'm not okay with it.
Okay.
So I get the bags as a fucking phone call happens at 8:49 at night. Are you kidding me?
Do we need to start this over?
Absolutely.
Why do I feel like I'm overblown? I feel overblown.
You do actually sound a little... I thought she sounded a little crispy, but I thought maybe it was her voice. But
Okay,
yes, something does sound a bit off.
Is that better? Okay.
See?
It seems better for me.
You just got catted.
Yeah.
Are you fucking cunt? Kidding me?
Yeah, I got the
Start
monitor
over again.
going, and I'm like, why do I sound very
Yeah, I thought she sounded a little
driven?
gravelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, overdriven.
Well, I sound gravelly because I've been fighting off some weird sinus allergy thing. So.
Oh, okay. So I do hear something.
Yeah.
But not that much of something. Oh, to die. Oh, he paused because that was...
Oh yeah. No, I was muting that. I'll be happy on the mute button tonight a lot. But yeah, I have a little bit of phlegm going on tonight. Phlegm.
Okay, that's fine. Just like we'll forgive any of the erroneous editing errors.
You know what? I will wholeheartedly own that. I'm sorry, Fork Fam, about blowing your eardrums out. That's all on me.
I'm blowing smoke with 3% actual particulate damage.
Yeah, sorry. my bad. If I have to edit this one, I will make sure to correct it. I don't know that I will ever be given those duties again with how bad the last...
I think...
Oh, you think I might have to?
No, I think it's working. But then again, I also thought my audio hijack was working.
Oh.
And then I booted it up, and it was like, please reinstall. And then it's like, open system preference, and click allow.
Yeah.
Opened it, blank fucking system preference, and I'm like, there's no allow button.
Okay. So anywho, Fork Fam, if I have to edit another one, I know what I did. I listened to it myself, so I got my ears blown out too. Believe me, we're misery loves company. So I know what I did wrong. I will endeavor to correct that if I have to edit this one. I have a template set up now, so it should be easy peasy lemon squeezy.
It's all good.
What?
It's all good. I was busting your balls.
Oh, I know. Hey, you know what? How many times have I busted your balls for bad edits? Because you've been doing this for 100 and some odd episodes, right?
I've doing it for longer than that if you count all the podcasts.
Yes.
I've been doing it for a long time.
Yes.
But I guess top of the morning, we'll just immediately not acknowledge cheese.
Cheese. So what happened with the cheese?
Do you want to talk about cheese?
Let's talk about
cheese. Or do we want to talk about housekeeping?
We don't talk. Do you see my background? We don't talk about housekeeping.
About Bruno? Oh, not that housekeeping.
Oh, fork housekeeping. Yeah, let's get into fork housekeeping, and then we'll spin the ring. And if cheese comes up in the conversation, we will talk about the cheese.
We're fucking talking about cheese.
Okay.
Before I spin.
What category is this so we know not to spin it? Is this life? Or is this entertainment? Or is this technology?
This is life entertainment technology.
Okay.
There you go. So last episode, I called it something bad. Last episode ever, ?
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. It seems like it will not be the last episode. At the very least, for another month.
Okay.
I have staved off
impending doom,
financial ruination.
Okay.
For another time. And possibly in a week and a half, I might even be.
Oh, sweet.
We'll see.
Yay, more forks for your ears.
Yeah, and so what this means in the immediacy, since we're recording on, is that
Sweet.
Or at the very least, another month. And should I need call on
me,
Nate, Daddy? No. See,
no,
I thought it in my head,
no,
and
no,
it just sounded so wrong.
And you made it worse by calling me Daddy.
I said Nate Daddy. Like, in my head, I was like, call him Nate Daddy. And then I was like, no, that's a terrible idea. And then it still came out of my mouth.
Right.
I regret that.
I have spent my entire life cringing every time someone calls me Nate Dog.
Oh, right. Because that would be the go-to easy.
Yes.
Where does it even come from?
It's
just like...
Well, what's funny is it's era-specific. It's an era-specific West Coast rap thing with Nate Dogg and Warren G, and we had to regulate.
Okay.
It's the G-Funk era.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, anyone named Nate got Nate dogged. So, but yeah. Nate Daddy? No. I saved that for my swinging days. The look on Tim's face, the what?
It was a whip snap.
Yes.
Like head move. Come the fuck again.
Hey, it ain't no frozen gummy bear bullshit, so.
Oh, man. You'd have to go into the Wayback Machine into the episodes that apparently don't exist online.
Oh, that's sorry. I'm sorry.
And not for... No, they do exist.
I just sad
don't
that
know
those
why
are
they don't exist.
Lost to time.
I still haven't... I have them. Right. I don't know why they're not online.
Okay.
I've told you before that was a mystery.
Right.
And we've brought it up thrice now on the show in the last many moons. Haven't had fucking time to dig into that.
Sure. Well, anyways, cups up to, former co-host Mike List, Buster Knuckle, and all of his shenanigans.
Fair enough. But yeah, we have a show for you guys today. Spinning it ever so slightly different. In gaming, I was able to do some gaming, and as of today, and today only, and only for a handful of hours, I was able to start Spider-Man. So we'll be talking about that.
Oh, good.
I did go on my haunted house crawl last weekend, which ended up spanning 2 days, which was probably had less to talk about in terms of entertainment and media. We had a death that apparently occurred today.
Oh, we've had 2, and you missed the other one.
Okay, I guess I missed the other one. And we've probably got a touch of tech to talk about, and life story. Before I spin that ring, it's cheese talk time.
It is cheese talk. Cheese time.
No, so I've been getting fucked with by my Tillamook cheese, which is the AAA best cheddar you can fucking buy in America on the West Coast.
Okay, that is not true, but subsequently also true. If you're talking about a prepackaged, mass-produced cheddar cheese, Tillamook, yes, Tillamook is the best.
Factory cheese.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There are far better craft cheddar cheeses, especially on the West Coast here. Hell, probably
craft
everywhere.
Cheddar cheeses.
Yes.
I feel like you're out of line by saying that, good sir.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically craft with a K?
No. Craft as in like bespoke.
Yeah,
like
that's what I thought. I was like, you better.
Oh no. Craft
the fucking way off my back.
Craft is garbage. It is bad as the day is long. It will suffice on a backyard barbecue cheeseburger, and that's about the only place it sits.
I'll tell you what. I think I'd rather have Kraft with a K cheese than Walmart cheese. Just saying.
I wouldn't know.
Just saying.
Right. I've heard some of that that is like government cheese level of.
Well, Walmart's below it then.
Okay. Does it actually qualify as cheese, or does he add another processed cheese product?
No, but like sweet corn, it comes in and it comes out the same.
Gotcha. So how has Tillamook been fucking with you, Tim?
Yeah, I'm loath to talk anything bad about Tillamook. I've been to the factory when I was a kid, and enjoy their products. Basically, I get the big old Costco bag of Tillamoo, and I throw a Tillamoo in my lunch almost every day. Those who don't know, it's a little cheese cube wafer thing, not a cheese stick.
No,
they don't do that.
Think of your Kraft single cut into about a quarter of that size and actually good.
Yeah, at a quarter of an inch.
Yeah.
And for the past week, I've been opening up my Kraft, sealed, packaged singles.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some fucking mold.
Okay.
I realize cheese is mold, but we're talking the green mold.
Right.
The bluey green mold. And I'm like, the fuck are you doing here? Oh, for fuck's sake. Because we're recording early. That's just because break time. I didn't think to turn that off. It's fine. A quick text that says, FYI, for some sort to call the emoji, wavy emoji. Okay, done.
Yeah, there's no excuse. It's 9 o'clock now.
Yeah.
So yeah, your Tillamook has not been. It's been Tillamold.
It's not every one though. And sometimes I'll be eating them and I'll get down to the last bite and I'll see, oh shit, there's some mold on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Was there mold in the other bites? I don't know.
And I'm just going to make the safe assumption that you are storing these properly.
In the fridge?
Yes.
One puts their cold.
Again, I'm going to make the assumption that you are storing these properly. And if you come back and say, what do you mean? You're not supposed to leave them on the counter? This is a whole different conversation.
Do that?
Somebody might. Okay,
well, I'm telling you, Fork Fam, if you're doing that,
then you have Tillamold.
Wrong.
Yeah.
The only time, and I repeat, only time that is acceptable is during winter, and if you live in Alaska and it's not.
And granted, when that cheese is being made, it is not kept refrigerated. In fact, that's
true.
So,
but anyway, I had the last straw today because I had kind of a snack lunch. I had a pack of imitation crab snack meat or surimi as
K-Rab. Yeah.
Yep, K-Rab. And I had a Tillamoo, though not the first one, and I ended up going through like 3 Tillamoos before I found one that didn't have mold. And it was just open in the package, check it. And I'm so sad because I'm about halfway through this package, this big old bag of Tillamoos that is totally normal in my household. And I'm like, I fucking loathe and hate food.
Sure.
And I'm just like, we're going to have to check this because it's just not.
Right.
I don't have time to, be making my lunch in darkness in the early AM come 2 or noon or whenever I'm having lunch.
Find out that you have, you had packed penicillin today.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I have to say about cheese. I'm glad you said Tillamook. Okay. I'm sure there are many things we could say about. Like, what's your favorite Ritzy cheese to indulge into?
I've always been a cheddar man, but I love it as aged as humanly possible. Like, I like the crumbly, cave-aged, guano cheddar. Like, I like a good cheddar.
Okay. See, and then for me, if I'm going fancy cheese, I'm going to go with a brie or a Gouda smoked.
Sure. If I'm spreading it on crackers, I'm not a big fan of soft cheeses in general. Like, I don't hate them, but they're not my go-to.
Interesting. Fair enough.
So.
All right, that's enough about cheese.
Hey.
Let us spin. What on earth? I
Earth?
don't have my Discord up. I forgot to start it.
I'm looking. I think it's technology. Yep, technology.
Is it technology?
It is technology.
Cool. Discord is disking.
Mm-hmm.
Did I punch anything into technology?
We did not. The last thing we put on there was the AI dubbing, and I believe we talked about it on the last podcast with
11 Labs IO dubbing.
Yeah, the 11 Labs IO dubbing. Basically, if we didn't talk about it, we could take this podcast. Instead of we already have AI subtitling where we could just run it through an algorithm and it just spits out subtitles. What this AI dubbing would say, hey, I'm a German listener or a Spanish listener or whatnot. It would take our voices, translate them into the local language, and play them back to you in our voices.
We for sure
translated.
Talked about this because of Spotify.
Yeah. So.
Okay, well, let's make up some tech shit.
Make up some tech shit?
Yeah. There's an Apple event Monday, scary fast. Most likely they are revealing the 3 nanometer there's been some interesting rumors that I've been reading about lately in regards to that. As sounds like they're gonna have gaming focus.
Sure.
At this Mac focused event. And I'm like, interesting. We now have a gaming mode on the Mac, and we have big games coming to the Mac. Resident Evil 4 just got its release date sometime in December. A little late, but whatever. That's all we know.
Well, I've noticed a big advertising push lately with the Apple ads. They're gaming A17 chip, and they're making a real huge push. They're almost as annoyed as I've been getting about seeing every titanium ad coming out. It's now starting to shift to Apple in some sort of a gaming context, and it's almost getting abusive. So they're really making a market push for it right now.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I have seen some stuff in the periphery. I've seen some Gary explains stuff. Qualcomm is basically selling a consumer grade, server grade ARM CPU for desktops and laptops now. The biggest thing about that is they're claiming the same power envelope as Apple Silicon. But the thing about this, because this wasn't, I guess, a specifically planned for thing, because this is basically an existing process and product, and they are repackaging it and relabeling it. All it is 12 high performance CPUs with built-in.
Okay.
This is interesting because this goes against basically every single fucking ARM chip ever fucking made in existence of the big little design.
Right.
In that there's no little. And they're claiming the same power envelope. Gary Explains, who's a lovely bloke in the UK, who's actually primarily an Android bloke, but I watch him. He was stating, he hypothesized that they're basically probably just 6 cores on, and then the other 6 spin up as needed.
Right. They're 12
software, firmware affected.
They're 12 big cores, but instead of having 8 big, 4 little, and the 4 little constantly running doing menial tasks, it's just 6 big cores on, 6 big cores off, and if we need more power, we turn another one on.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting. They're going to hit beginning of 2024 in consumer products, I believe. Microsoft, HP. I want to say, don't quote me on this. I feel like I saw a card that said like Omen and Alienware and stuff.
Sure.
We're going to have some of the first products. But this is exciting.
And I mean, between me, you, and the fence post, the big little design, while I understand it has its advantages, I think the inherent flaw, which is leading to this just straight up big design, is trying to figure out what's supposed to go big and what's supposed to go little is getting harder and harder and harder. So you've got these little cores that are trying to tackle things, and they just can't. And it's not spinning up the bigs when they need to.
Maybe. I
So
feel
if
like
you just
that
go
would be
right, but if you just go straight big, and you're dealing with okay, we hit 80% capacity, spin up 2 more. You have a more consistent experience.
But I feel like that entire statement is dependent on your understanding of how Qualcomm is designating their power in their chips.
Sure.
To which I don't have an appropriate answer for. I can speak from it on how NVIDIA uses their ARM cores and how Apple uses their ARM cores, which is where the efficiency cores are actually running the operating system
right.
in the day-to-day, and then when they need more, they spin up the big boys.
And we're also talking
is how they function.
Yeah, and we're talking about 2 really different use case scenarios. You're talking about like on a mobile device, this makes sense. On a day-to-day daily driver device, this makes sense. On an Asus ROG, on a Steam Deck, on a gaming device, it makes less sense to have that minimal core because you're you're using it for gaming.
I mean, maybe, but like I said, this Square or this Qualcomm chip that I cite, OpenFit, to my understanding, is average PC market devices.
Right, and again, that's a use case scenario. This is not your daily driver. This is not your phone where you're going to be using it all day to make phone calls and check your Facebook and whatnot. This is something you're going to fire it up because you're sitting on the train and you want a game.
But I think it's important to note because I feel like, Windows is probably going to have to do a push in the new year to really get their ARM OS like really up to snuff. I know they did a big push here in fall, but everything I was reading, to make up some mileage. But now we're going to get some actual public products out there. So hopefully,
right.
I mean, it's basically, it's that or some version of Android or Linux.
Sure. And again, it comes down to use case. Like you're on a racetrack, you're not driving a hybrid, which is basically what the whole big little architecture is. You got your hybrid when you don't need, just raw horsepurs, and you got gas when you do. This is something that when you need it, you need gas. Whether it's 4, 6, or 8 cylinders, now they can decide.
Fair enough.
So
either way, exciting times for 2024. I watched a quick YouTube short with OnePlus or one of the other brands, but it's foldable. But of particular note was they've like 95% full bendy crease in the foldable.
Okay.
Whichever one it was. I'm talking out of my ass trying to remember stuff because I didn't write anything down in tech.
Well, there's basically two big players right now, and that would be the Pixel Fold and the Samsung Fold. So getting anyone else into the market, you have to do something significant at this point to enter that market. And
I mean,
if it is OnePlus,
be a big deal to you?
The crease is a big deal to me. Like it's
so if it's mostly fixed, is that appealing to you?
It is very appealing to me. Okay. It's one of those things that having had 2 now foldable phones, it is the thing that I deal with to get a phone/tablet experience. It's just, I know it's there and it's acceptable in its current iteration. So any improvement on that is very welcome. Okay. And again, if you're going to jump in the pool with the big boys of Google and Samsung, you better come correct.
Sure. I still keep hearing rumors of Apple dabbling notebook, iPad.
And honestly,
I'm sure they probably are.
At this point, I don't think Apple is going to enter into the fray until they get that crease figured out.
Oh, sure. I imagine.
Right. That is an Apple thing where it's just like, no.
Works where it's like, no crease.
Yeah. Crease is unacceptable for them. Sure. And it's like, and again, they dominate both sides of that marketplace so much. Like, why would they enter into a foldable realm without the perfect product?
It's very true.
Yeah, because again, I think at this point, if Apple were to enter into a foldable fray, they'd be like, "Ooh, the Apple foldable." Right. Unless they come up with something that's like Apple foldable, no creases. It's just going to be, they're just going to be following their predecessors.
I feel like if they were smart, if they were to do it with up, they would, because it's a book.
Right. The iPhone, iPad, iBook.
No, because we had iBooks.
iFold?
It was Apple Books. No, it was the books. It was the
No,
bookstore.
what would it be? The iFold?
I mean, that just sounds dumb.
The iBend?
I don't know. I mean, it does seem like the most obvious thing.
iFold with a PHOLD.
Get your head out of the gutter. Google Maps is getting artificial intelligence, street view, aerial imaging, immersive view that will preview every step of.
Okay, but why? Right, but what purpose does that serve? Short of eventually when we get to a point where what AR VR, you can VR drive somewhere.
I don't fucking know. It's a different way to see your fucking route, man.
Right, but yeah, I guess.
It doesn't say when, but it says it's rolling out in Amsterdam, Barcelona, Dublin, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Paris, San Francisco, Tokyo, and Venice, and will be available.
Like the only thing I can see this going is like now we're getting landmark based directions. So at the second McDonald's, turn right. At the Starbucks, turn left.
I mean, honestly, I would like that.
Sure,
personally,
sure,
that would be helpful because I can't tell you how many times, whether it's Siri or whatever fucking Google's voices. Motherfucker.
So here you go. Instead of like, in 800 feet, turn left. And then now it pops up a preview of that intersection and you can actually see it and you go, oh shit, there's a Starbucks there. Now you're driving, you go, there's a Starbucks. Cool. Because every now and then I come across these little obscure directions and it was supposed to be the side street before the driveway, not the alleyway after.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what I was talking about, you son of a bitch. Not you, but like Siri and Google. And I'm like, I don't care which one you're using. You've been in a situation where it's like
you need the visual aid.
On the second light, turn right. And you're looking around and you have like 5 lights. And I'm like, which fucking second light?
So if they can quickly pop up a visual representation of the intersection where you need to turn, I guess that's useful.
It is. The last bit I have is following rumors, although it's now confirmed, the developer has this in the beta specifically for tvOS, for the Apple TV. They are removing the old iTunes movies, iTunes TV show stores, and integrating that into app in the Apple TV.
Okay.
Which basically stands to be the biggest single user interface redesign probably since we went to Apple TV HD. It does make sense in some capacities and in others not, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm looking at a picture of the beta, and there's basically like a drop-down list on the left side of the screen. I'm assuming you get there via a button, and you basically have movies, TV, and then both your channel apps. I guess makes sense in the context of since it's a home streaming box to have quick access to that, even though you have a screen. I don't know. We'll see. We'll fucking. That's all I can think of on tech. The only other thing that I could talk about on tech is just the technical aspect of. So I finished my replays, Spider-Man Remastered, and I had not played Miles Morales in but man, the technical jump from 2020 Miles Morales to Spider-Man 2, I'd seen the Digital Foundry thing when it came out. I watched the whole fucking thing, but it did not quite prepare me for like
actually seeing it with your own eyes.
How much fucking better it looks. Like it's a man. It's so much better looking.
Now, if only they could figure out their USB transfer speeds.
Oh my god. Okay, so if you want to talk about a technical thing, What in the actual ass? Okay, so
that's what you call a good segue, Tim.
I finished Miles Morales, but it's also still text. We're
yes.
still good. We're still good. We don't have to spin. I finished Miles Morales again for the first time since it came out this morning. And I'm the type of sociopath who takes just way too many screenshots of his games, dumps them on, put them.
Mm-hmm.
My ritual, as it's been this year, finish replays, dump picture, start new game. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's what I did with Pikmin, etc. And I just want to point out the differences between the fucking platforms here. Xbox, you designate the USB drive. You save the picture to the fucking USB drive. Maybe 1 out of like 20, if you're taking them really quickly. The Xbox will go capture not saved, most likely because you queued up too much shit to load to the fucking drive. But it runs it at full speed. Nintendo Switch obviously has no USB drive, but you just fucking take your Switch and you fucking plug it in to the USB-C port on the bottom, and it opens up like a camera roll, and you export. Done. Also, probably the fastest transfer, I might add, even over the USB. And to be clear, I'm using both identical Samsung USB 3.0 speed integrated flash USB drives.
Right.
That were purchased within the last, with the exception of the Switch, in which case. So then the fucking PlayStation 5. Can you designate that drive? No. So you have to go to your fucking media library. You have to fucking select the pictures and device recognize, select all, and hit copy. You can't hear this, but it sounded like either somebody was just letting off a Tommy gun barrel or firecracker. I don't know. It's a Saturday.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, we got Halloween parties going on all over my block.
Oh, yeah. That's true. If people were having Halloween parties, it would be this week, not fucking Tuesday.
That's where my wife is currently.
I finished Miles Morales at like 11:30. I thought to myself, cool. Let me just dump 4,550 some odd pics onto this USB drive.
Which, admittedly, you even accept that that's insane. But
maybe.
But
I mean, it's over probably 30, 40-ish hours of replaying 2 Spider-Man games.
Right.
Over the past.
But that's not the point. Yes.
I take a lot of pictures. And then I went to the bathroom for about 15 minutes, expected it to be done, got back, and it said 8%. And I was like, Went and watched an hour show.
Right.
Came back to it. It was at 80%. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
What file format are these in, by the way?
That I can tell you. I can tell you for a fact, though, the Switch ones are JPEG. And then the Xbox does a really weird thing where it dual takes a JPEG and then an EXIF file.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then obviously I junk the EXIF file.
Right.
Well, if it doesn't break anything, I hit info. It takes them in. It says JPEG.
Okay. Then there's no excuse.
Yeah, there's absolutely no fucking excuse.
Okay.
Absolutely fucking none.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah, if PlayStation were to say, well, we take all of our images in high quality PNG or TIFF or EXIF or whatever.
I think PlayStation will actually let you, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure the common formats they use are JPEG, PNG, PNG, and then movies or .moves and WebM files.
Mm-hmm.
And it is user. But the point is,
we're comparing apples to apples.
We're just moving fucking JPEGs.
And we're comparing apples to apples between the Switch, the Xbox, and
yeah.
Okay.
It's just
no excuses, Sony. Sorry.
It's just fucking painful. Now, the PlayStation people might go, oh, but Tim, you probably have the fucking USB in the front of the console, and the front console USB is not a high-speed USB. You need to plug it into the back USB slots, to which my double response is, I fucking know that, you dipshits.
And it's stupid that they do that.
it's stupid. You have a fucking low speed on your fucking high-tech, top-of-the-line, blah, 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 best console. Fuck you, Sony fanboy. And your fucking 6-slaved NAD flash thing to make up an NVMe equivalent SSD on your fucking board. Fanboyism. And then my second response would be, those fucking ports are full, dipshit, with my 4 terabyte hard drive and my fucking PlayStation VR. Because you only get the 2 ports.
Yeah.
And then for the third, if there's any naysayers out there, well, you could just plug it into the USB because that's full high speed. And it's like, I know, but I have to have a fucking adapter for that because it's a fucking USB thumb drive. And then that's going to look like shit hanging off the front of that fucking 3-ring binder fucking shit. Yeah, no, and then Nate just held up a fucking adapter. But see, the thing is...
Yeah, the adapter that you gave me. Yeah.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah. That's what makes it funny.
That is fun. Anyways, I digress. But back to the technological prowess. This Spider-Man 2 game without... Man, it is really just on a whole nother... I know from the Digital Foundry stuff, they have a global ray tracing illumination in place, which is very nice. And like really, really makes the colors pop and stuff like even more. It reminded me of like when we went from SD to HDR and you're like, oh shit, HDR is dope. It was like that again. So I haven't really been wowed by colors in a long time. And I was like, Jesus, yeah, this looks... Fuck.
Right.
Looks really good.
So for all the things they do wrong, that's one of the few things they do right.
Sure. I mean, there's no question that I think Insomniac, which is now Sony owned, they put that out, clearly in like the top 10, if not top 5 of like, hey, we know how to make a fucking bitchin' game engine. Like, it was pretty apparent, you know, when they had Spider-Man on the PS4 and it was swinging around and they're doing a bazillion calculations per second to do properly calculated swinging and the web hitting geometry correctly and stuff to not break the and it was definitely another kick up when I played the remaster. Definitely a step up in the graphical direction. But now that I'm playing 2, it really, really is hitting home.
It feels good.
It's like, it's like, man, there's definitely, you know, I've definitely played a lot of games this generation, but this is one of the few games where by the time I finished the opening sequence, I was just like, this actually could not have been done on a platter spinning hard drive.
Right.
There's no fucking way they could have accomplished this.
Without having some like insane graphics buffers.
Yeah. Like without slapping another 20 gigabytes of RAM.
Right.
In the PS4 or something. It's just really, really shocking. And they go over this in the Digital Foundry thing, and it's some the intro of the game where basically you're a character, you're fighting a boss, essentially, like right off the rip of the game. They're just like, they're like, all right, this is Spider-Man 2, crank it up to fucking 12, like right off the rip. And you're like fighting this iconic Spider-Man. And then this villain will like, when you mess up, he'll like throw you, but he'll basically throw you out of New York. And you're like flying by buildings at such speed, but then the rendering illusion is not broken. And then you're like web slinging yourself back into New York. And it's just like, holy fucking laud management, Batman. like they're doing this shit like it's a fucking racing game or something. And your cat is underneath your feet. Is this why you're sighing?
No, she's behind my desk where the power strip is, and I'm just waiting for everything to go.
No.
Poof. Yeah.
Oh no.
I hear meow, meow.
Get the fuck out of there.
Right.
But it is just really impressive. And I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's like you look at it and you go, Yeah, this is a next-gen game
Right.
in a way that, God of War Ragnarok doesn't look like
sure. And I
one,
mean,
or
even to take it out of a gaming context, like the first time you saw the first Avatar and you went, oh, this is what CG rendering could be.
Now, I know we talked about it before, but I don't remember what you said. Did you notice the huge jump in fidelity between Avatar and Water?
Oh, yeah. I also noticed the frame jumps between the cinematics.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's one of those you're like, could it get any better than this? And they went, yes, it can.
Yeah, that's what Spider-Man 2 feels like.
Right.
It feels like the jump from Avatar to being like, holy fuck, Avatar is like really fucking good. Everything looks amazing and photorealistic. It still holds up pretty well,
And then you see Avatar 2 and you go,
yeah. And then I look at Spider-Man 2 and I'm just like, man.
Yeah.
I see properly modeled talking mouths and muscles in NPCs when they talk.
Right. Right.
Like, you want to make fun of like Starfield or even Cyberpunk that I know uses an automated solution to mouth speaking. And I'm just like, I don't know whether I'm looking at AI. I don't know whether this is just fucking stupid animation of somebody's mouth.
Or really good motion capture. Yeah.
Yeah, or really good motion. They're using it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. My only complaint on a technical front, and I played around with the settings and I couldn't get them to change, which frustrated me. And it might have had something to do with the fact that I'm using a capture card.
Sure.
My understanding is this is one of the very, very few games that supports true Dolby Atmos. And I have a Dolby Atmos setup, and it was like stereo. And I was like, oh. And then they're like, I tried to change a setting in game, and then they were like, it was all grayed out. And then I was like, you have to change something in your HDMI settings on your PlayStation. I went to them, and I went to change it, and it also wouldn't let me change it. I was like, that's weird. Because normally it does.
Sure.
And it certainly did on the previous games, but I know they're using a different sound mix and all that sort of shit. Yeah, from a technical standpoint, it feels very next gen. It feels very
proper for next gen.
Avatar 2 or cyberpunky, like it. Anyways, enough gushing about the graphics. Let's spin and find out where we go.
Bling.
Oh man, we've landed on Fire, which I know
life
is
stories. Yay.
Well, I got some of those, having done my annual Halloween haunted house crawl over 2 days. But Nate, tell us about your fantastical life over the last 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, just today in general was, woke up. Kids were supposed to go to the what they call the Boo at the Zoo.
Boo at the Zoo, is that like a trunk or treat kind of situation?
Kinda, yeah. At the Los Angeles Zoo. And
how old are your girls again?
6 and 5.
Okay.
And so they went, and it was like, okay, it was supposed to be from 9 till whenever. We figured they'd be home around noon, 1, 2. Apparently they had such a good time with the zoo part of it, not anything to do with the trick-or-treating, that my wife showed up, like knocked on my bedroom door at 5 o'clock and said, hey, are we going to this party tonight or what? I'm like, where are the kids? Are they in the car? And she goes, no, they went home to my sister's. I said, okay, wasn't this party supposed to be for them? She goes, yeah, but I'm going to go see my friends anyways. I'm like, okay. So we got up, went and did that, and I ended up coming home for the cast tonight, and she's like, yeah, I'll Uber, which I told her, I'm like, if you want to Uber, you want to stay and hang out, stay and hang out. I'm not going to force you to come home. Like, I was actually not going to go at all.
Okay.
Because it was supposed to be the wife, the kids, and everyone else's kids. That it's someone that lives in the neighborhood. She runs a community camp over the summer. She's got she has a nice property up in the hills.
That sounds like a Californian word there. What's a community camp?
People from the community come and they They bring their kids and they learn about, I was just getting to that, they have animals on the property. So they get to learn, like, farm life.
Okay.
Right. So instead of putting your kids in, art camp, drama camp, blah, 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 right? This is kind of a, and again, I use that word, community camp. Like you can go and you can swim, or you can go and you can pet the pigs, or you can go and feed the chickens, or you can go and do art. Like, it's just, yeah.
Okay.
So apparently every year they do a Halloween party and everyone brings their kids and does their thing. And our kids, they checked out. My wife, she checked in. Me, I checked out.
There's a lot of checking happening.
Yeah. Well, I've been checking out of a lot of stuff lately because, again, here comes that topic that we keep bringing up.
Oh.
Nate and his night shifts.
Oh, yeah. And you got a date again.
I got another date again. Yeah. It was supposed to.
Wow out.
Right. No, it was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago, and then it got pushed out to 2024, and then they brought it back into the end of just after Thanksgiving, and I'm just like, I'm so over this nonsense.
Wait, they changed it since the one you sent me?
Yeah, didn't I send you the one the other day that they changed it to 11/27?
You sent me the one. It was like 1/24/24 or something.
Yeah, no, it was 1/8/24. Now they brought it back to 11/27/23.
Yeah, you didn't say that, and that sucks.
Right?
Why is this so hard for them?
I don't even know at this point. Oh yeah, it's sitting in the fucking our Discord, 11/27/23. I sent it yesterday.
Private?
In between hitting rank 100.
Well, see, I probably saw that. I was just like, fuck you, you son of a fucking...
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You did see it.
So yeah, it's just getting...
See, I totally ignore that over the fact that it's...
Right. It has been such an absolute fucking...
An exo-minor, folks. That's what we're doing.
Yes. We'll get to that when we get to gaming.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just been an absolute fucking shit show, and I'm just like, I don't even know. And thankfully, I already had the conversation with my brother-in-law because we were going to do a whole car thing when I went on it.
I remember that about the cast because I actually listened to our whole podcast post-show.
Mm-hmm.
Which never happens.
But yeah, it's just like I thankfully we figured out. I was just like I can't. I'm sorry, I can't commit my car to you anymore. If you can figure this out, figure it out, because I don't even know anymore, and it's not.
I want to know what happened.
The cell phones?
Yeah.
The cell phones.
Yeah, you were bitching about your brother-in-law in the plan.
Oh, the caller ID gate.
Yeah.
Apparently, it seems to be better.
Uh-huh.
Apparently sometimes it's showing up, most of the time it's showing up his name, every now and then it shows up my name, and even more rarely it's showing up as my dead father-in-law's name, who was never on my plans. Right. Yeah. Which at this point, because of all the bitching, moaning, complaining that he had done about this, I'm like, if you want to fucking walk away from the plan, fucking walk. I don't care at this point. Again, so like the shit 100%. With work, I'm done with it. I am done.
Dude, I'm so sorry you don't have, like, what's the word that adult humans like, stability?
No, I have plenty of stability when it's not when I don't have to deal with anyone else's bullshit. Like when I don't have to account for anything outside of me, we're fine. It's when other factors outside of me get involved, like, my wife, my kids, my brother-in-law, cars, etc., 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 etc. And it's like, I'm over it. I'm done.
You're either rattling around a bottle of Legos or you're about to take some pills. From the old amber bottle on a time thing. He's taking them. Oh, he's got a red Solo cup, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
Do.
Yeah, as we're sitting here talking, I'm like, I'm feeling my brain just melting, and I'm like, oh right, I forgot to take my meds last night. I need to take them tonight, and I'm already way late on those, so I don't need to miss 2 nights.
So it goes.
Yeah, that's the other thing is in I think 4 days I have my first official intake to even get on even more medication because in case you didn't notice. I've spent my entire life dealing with unmedicated, untreated, and unofficially diagnosed ADHD.
Okay.
So here I am pushing 50, and I'm finally getting that taken care of as well. So, yeah, that's another thing I got to deal with in 2 weeks. So, thankfully, the podcast is going on. You're going to see maybe a whole different Nate.
Terrific.
Try not to sound so thrilled about it. I might be more focused.
I mean...
Unless that's what you find entertaining about me being here.
No. I mean, from a friend standpoint, and we've talked some about this off air.
Sure.
You know, those I don't believe are the ways.
What's that?
For medication.
Sure.
Garbage.
Sure. And per our conversations offline.
In an alternate coin flip, though.
Right.
Hopefully we don't have just a reverse Mike List situation.
Right. Oh, well, no, believe me. I've got plenty of people monitoring my status because, again, I've survived almost 49 years.
Sure.
With other coping mechanisms and other ways of doing things, which, may or may not have been the healthiest.
I thought you were going to say may or may not involve alcohol.
Well, as I hold up the red Solo cup,
as
right?
he holds up the red Solo cup, yeah.
Yeah, it's red
true.
Solo cup, and I have a nasty smoking habit I've had since I was 11. I'm horribly addicted to caffeine.
It is a nasty habit.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see.
Well, regardless, luck and travails.
Right.
Fuck.
Halloween crawls?
No, I was going to get to that, but there's something else. I had just thought about it. We were talking about it, and then my head was like, "You should say travails."
Nope.
And then I thought of it, and I said it, and then it's like you don't get to remember what you just thought before you thought of thinking about saying travails, and I was like, "That's a dick move."
This is every man in the throes of passion. He's got all these things on his mind, and then, he comes, and then everything in their brain is just gone.
It's true. It's true. Especially post-show when we're like, I'm not doing anything, I'm not talking, and then Nate's sitting there doing something, and I'll be like, oh!
Yeah.
And oh! I was going to say this and that sort of thing. But anyway, Haunted House Crawls. Year.
Travails.
2023. So it was an interesting crawl this year. Number one, because I didn't have my wife for the first crawl, because she was working. I had to come and didn't have a vehicle. My buddy Jay had to grab me, and then we rushed up and then met Mariah at a train station to then go back to his place to then acquire his son, who had Hudson with him, his daughter just in the nick of time, who just got out of a horse competition and apparently won first place. Daughter's name is Chloe, to then go pick up her best friend, who is also named Chloe, spelled the same way, which wasn't fucking confusing at all.
Cholo, right?
Cholo?
Yes.
No, it was Chloe and Chloe. It was Chloe and other Chloe. And then that, of course, doubles up on which other Chloe are you talking about?
Right.
It's like, oh my fucking God. Anyways, so we had a gaggle of us. We had one vehicle, which was not how we have normally done this before. Me and the wife were separate.
You should have taken the work van and just piled everyone in the back.
Nate, I'm not allowed to take the work van on personal adventures.
Shh.
It is... Because, here's the thing. Yes, I can do that. But if there's an insurance claim or an accident, and it's instead of hey, I'm on the way to an automatic door, and then the business insurance is like, yeah, fine. Right. Versus, hey, I have a pile of kids that don't have seat belts, and we're going to a haunted house, and the insurance would be like, to work on an automatic door, right? And it'll be like, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't do that.
Fine, do-gooder.
Listen, California. with your digital thievery. Despite all of my colorful history, we're trying to keep everything on the up and up.
Sure.
That is the... Anyways, so we were all together in Jay's vehicle, and it was a fucking packed vehicle, and it was a fucking... the journey was often as hilarious and interesting as the destination this time around, because so he's got a 16-year-old boy in Maxwell, and then his daughter is 13.
Yes.
Diva center stage 27.
Yes.
And it was a fight for the aux, as his kids called it, which is of course the aux cable vehicle, and we went between...
Oh, the musical choices? Yeah.
The musical choices were fucking schizophrenic. Because almost every time it got to Chloe, it would like throw... It was everything from like Katy Perry fireworks to...
Some K-pop to Tay-Tay
to like Megan Thee Stallion and like all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah. It was something. Interestingly, when it finally got around to Mariah had like the most Halloweenish playlist.
Right.
But it was just a normal ass playlist for her. And I was like, oh, this is just a regular day mix? She's like, yep. And I was like, oh, fair enough, Mariah.
They did the mash.
So night 1 of the crawl, the plan, I might add, was originally we were gonna go hit this haunted house in West Seattle that is like an actual somebody's house, something. Then, breaking tradition, because it's usually the finale of the crawl because it's the goat, we'd go to the Georgetown morgue. And then we had a second activity to do at Georgetown because they had a new thing called the Dark Maze there in addition to the morgue. And then we were going to go to Nightmare on 9 at a farm up north. It had a haunted house and a haunted trail. So we ended up going to the Seattle house, and I guess it's like some old house built in the 1800s. And it was an interesting joint. If you live in Seattle, I guess they do. It's free to enter. And they just have like a little polite thing.
You can come in for free, but you may not leave.
Yeah, okay. But no, you can go in for free if you so want to, and they just ask that you kindly donate to national parks. We did that. Donate to... Very odd look from your face there on national parks.
No. I went to scooch my chair forward, and the whole thing... That's... Right?
I don't understand what you're doing now.
I was scooting my chair forward, and it leaned, and the wheels almost scooched out underneath me. Yeah.
You almost rolled back there.
Yeah.
Get your center of gravity back.
I'm good.
Fucking chair, man.
We're fine. Continue.
So we rolled in this house, and I must say, number 1, no performers. Number 2, I feel like they stole like a ton of animatronics from, because like they had some like really high quality animatronics and like light map projections on animatronic dolls and shit.
Right.
You know, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
Now, granted, the whole light mapping thing is actually getting easier and easier.
Sure.
So
absolutely. But I thought the quality of stuff was really good, and their use of space was really good. I did an interesting thing this year, which I think I remembered from last year, but I don't, where I started a workout on my Apple Watch. So A, I knew how long the haunted houses were from start of experience to end, and B, where the spikes in my heart rate were to see. Right?
Fair.
Yeah. So it was about 13 and a half minutes. There's one animatronic that got me because it came out of a dark hole as I was like leaving a corner, so I wasn't expecting. But no, they just had really good use of their space. Like it felt like it was pretty cohesive. A lot of fog.
Sure.
You know, fake fog. It was just really well done. It takes a while to set this shit up. Like, oh my god. So for free, I'd say you can't beat that if you live in the Seattle area. There is no parking, so you gotta fucking find your ass way in fucking Seattle residential areas.
Welcome to Seattle. Yeah.
But it wasn't too bad. We went to Georgetown Morgue, of course, time and our ratings and our scare factor.
Mm-hmm.
Their line this year went back 4 fucking blocks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We were like, fuck.
So it's no longer a locals only thing.
I mean, I guess not. Like, I mean, it's like a destination.
Sure.
They had caramel corn and hot dogs and police. Like, they had a lot of fucking extra stuff there.
Okay.
Year.
Those 3 things, dude, like caramel corn, hot dogs, police.
Traffic guider people with the the glow sticks.
Sure.
Anyways, it was also interesting because the parking lot was partially like completely flooded, so that was interesting. But no, we grabbed some food there and hot dog. It was fucking delicious.
A real human hot dog?
Yeah, because I had wheat.
Oh, okay.
I had whatever.
Sorry.
Probably high fructose corn syrup was in the.
In the context of Halloween, having a human hot dog.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Well, you see here, Nate, we've one-upped California, and we have human dogs. Nom 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 nom. No, you're right. That in context. Yeah. That was pretty good.
There we go.
Anyways, but we're longtime morgue people, and so we expensive tickets. They have like 3 tiers of line now. They had like basic bitch line, they had like VIP, and then like the all access line, which was still a really long line. It took us 2 hours to get in to the house.
Sure.
And it was good. You know, there's a lot of talking. They had a lot more actors out in the crowd doing like scare work. They had like a dude and like super tall stilts on, and
right,
like
yeah,
witch bitch.
Remind me to send you pictures of my neighbor's house this year.
Let me just remind you right now. Hey Nate, I'm reminding you. Pictures of your neighbor's house. Do it
on Halloween.
Okay. But yeah, no, we went in the house. It was interesting because my friend Mariah had a new addition to the group, and she'd done haunted houses, and she was like, I love spooky stuff, but like nothing like scares me. I get jump scared. So she was totally game for everything.
Mm-hmm.
We went through, it seemed like they changed kind of the beginning of the house. Like I remember the year before they had like a bath of blood and an actor that like flipped out on it, and they had like clear plexiglass with blood like flies towards you, and then but it stops because it's plexiglass.
Right.
They didn't have that this year, which I was a little disappointed by it, but there was, and I couldn't tell if it was part of the set or if it was because we had some significant rain and like the building was leaking. There was several points where I got water thrown in my face, and I could not tell if it was design or if there was just a big ass leak that I walked through.
Sure.
But it was pretty good. So to preface this, the year before they did the last section of the morgue was like funhouse stuff, and then they had the killer clown fake chainsaw come out and chase you out of the house.
Sure. Chainsaw with a bicycle chain on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no chain. Because,
yeah.
And that was pretty terrifying. They had like neon. So this year they really upped the ante. And so after a certain point, we went through like this weird, like dark zigzag thing. And then they had one of those things that you sometimes see at carnivals where there's a catwalk and like a spinning thing around it.
Yeah, no, fuck that. Yeah.
That fucks with your disorientation, which I love personally. My buddy Jay, it really fucks with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he loves them.
I'm one of those too.
But it totally fucks him up.
Will make me vomit.
We'd lost where he was in the group. Like he was somehow behind us and I was up front with Mariah and then the 2 Chloes. And so we're on the catwalk and we're going through and we're like, okay, cool. And then clown comes out before we're done with the catwalk.
Oh, so you're mid disorientation.
We're mid disorientation, and the motherfucking clown comes out, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
Nope.
And he starts charging at us, and we turn around, and then behind us, bam, second saw clown, and we're like, "Oh fuck!" And I don't know how they did it or where it was, because I don't remember seeing it, but I guess there was a point in the spinning thing somehow in the middle where we could divert to the right and then like get the fuck out of the house. And he chased us.
So you just follow the crowd at that point. You're like, I'm running where everyone else is running away from clowns.
The crowd? No, everyone was grabbed onto me. So I had Mariah, who's in my age group, and then I had two 13-year-old girls like death gripping the back of my fucking down hooded jacket while two clowns chased us out of this fucking house. It was excellent. Further compounded by the fact that when we got out and we realized we had no fucking idea where Jay Maxwell or his friend Hudson were, or when the fuck we lost them.
Right. They just, at some point, they noped the fuck out.
And it took a long time for them to come out, too. I was like, so that was pretty good. As per use, bring their a goat of our. We tried their new attraction, the dark maze, which is so no people, but it's just a pitch black maze with so there's no lights, but there's still there's weird shit on the walls as you're making your way through the maze, and then some motion censored jump scare thing, sparks or something like that.
Right.
It was not bad. I would argue that they could use that space for even bigger, but alas. So that was pretty good. We were about to leave. Somebody else was coming out of the house. We did the dark maze and we were exiting, and we just see this teenager just running full hilt down the alleyway, because that's where the morgue exit is, running full hilt, and then we see one of the clowns running after him, hauling ass in the distance, they're getting farther and farther away. They're going down the fucking city blocks. I'm like, holy fuck.
Both people fully committed to the bit.
Yes, it was fantastic. And then we were about to make way towards Nightmare on 9, which and we got stuck behind some trains, and then we were trying to figure out how late they were open, and then it was 11:40, and then we looked at it and we're like, oh, they are gonna be closed by the time, so we're done. And we looked around to see if anything else was like, well, shit. So we ended up going back to Jay's place, and then Jay had really wanted to initiate his young daughter into it. So we watched
the Tim Curry or the Skarsgård?
The new one.
Okay.
The Skarsgård. So we did that one and instead of talking and bullshitting, and then we were hit with the lovely, interesting thing, because normally Jay has guess, and then he's like, it occurs to me, I don't have my guest room anymore. It's now my wife's office.
I didn't think about this. You want to sleep on a couch?
Yeah.
Right.
So it was me and this friend of his, Hudson, who was 6'4", by the way.
Wife was not with you for this night?
My wife?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Because it was
because work.
Her working night. And it was funny. We were almost to Jay's house, and we were finding out that, oh yeah, we don't really have a place. And then Hudson, who's he just calmly says, he's like, it's fine, it's only my birthday. We all turn and fucking look at him, and we had known earlier in the evening that he'd never done any haunted houses before, so this was his haunted house cherry. And we're like, it's your actual fucking birthday today? And he was like, well, yeah. And I was like, holy fucking Christ. Happy birthday, I guess, man. Teenagers. Yeah. So at some point, I think before we all crashed at like 3 a.m., because we didn't get to do, and we'd already pre-purchased the tickets for it, Jay was like, why don't we just fucking go on Sunday? Well, I have work Monday. We're already pretty far north from my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
And while Washington isn't that big, it's still a trek to go to North Seattle from where you live.
I mean, sure, it's not as big in comparison to fucking California.
Right.
You fucking...
Well, especially going north to south.
Pencil Dick State.
But even east to west, I think our east to west might be as big as your north to south.
Probably.
So.
But yeah. So anyway, I ended up working out a thing in text with my wife before I hit the sack of her coming up after she sleeps for a bit in the late evening on Sunday, and I would just hang out with Jay, and then she would actually get to go to a haunted house because Mariah couldn't actually go to a second haunted house because she had a hot date on Sunday night, and she definitely was not going to miss that. So Sunday rolls around. Oh, I also must say, because it was forced upon me as much as a surprise as the normal sleeping arrangement, when I went to make the annual French toast, Jay was like, surprise, bitch, you're making them with croissants. And I was like, huh, okay. And then Mariah said something sassy like, yeah, get over there and start making them, you little French toast making bitch.
Well, I mean, if you're going to make them French, might as well do it with croissant.
Yeah. But no, I was definitely thrown by that because I was like, oh, I made French toast with croissants. I don't know how this is going to work.
Right.
I've probably said before in this Tim made recipe for French toast that is heavier on the egg and then also puts the sugar into the mix.
Puts the lotion into the basket or gets a hose again. Yeah.
Sure, something like that. But I was mostly concerned that the croissants were going to be like a fucking sponge and not French toastify correctly.
Yeah, you haven't worked with croissant bread before, and you're like, how is this going to work with the eggs?
Yeah, for sure. And they were really weird. They were really floppy and flappy going into the pan, and I was really afraid I was going to burn the fuck out of them.
Right.
Especially because I have sugar in my already brown up a bit more because of the sugar. But despite my trepidations of them getting out of the dip, and they cooked beautifully and were the best I've had. So hands down, they were so good.
Your French has now become croissant from here forward.
Yes. Okay. Oh, hands down. Everybody unanimous. They're like, oh my fucking God. Great.
I put the French on the French toast.
Yeah, exactly. Just channel probably whatever parts of my blood have French Canadian. But no, it's really good. So I do recommend. It is just really awkward to work with because the entire time until you take them out of the pan, you're like, this isn't working. This isn't working. This is burning. This is too floppy. This is going to tear. This is bad.
Right.
Fuck. But then they come out and you're like,
okay.
But despite all appearances to the contrary and the smoke and the
and now you have something to work towards, like getting that process down.
Sure. Yeah, especially because we cut them lengthwise in half. So obviously one side goes really well, but then you still have a round side to deal with. And I did like a kind of a ish motion to cook correctly. Sure. Yeah. Not bad for being forced to wing it. But anyway, Sunday rolls around. His kids wanted to make pumpkins, so we ended up making the messiest fucking possible using fucking jigsaws and power tools and like all kinds of shit.
Yeah, no knives and mini saws. We're straight going power tools.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the party I got back from tonight did what they do is the annual pumpkin roll. So when we showed up, all of these kids, like from 6 to 16, were carving pumpkins to roll them down this 50-foot driveway into a wooden board because tradition.
But what are you carving in them to roll down the thing?
Whatever.
You're just carving them so you know what your pumpkin looks like?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sure.
Stop it.
Yeah, we did that, and we were trying to find a horror movie to put on in the background, daylight and stuff. And so we started the new Hulu Hellraiser, but got like 20 minutes into it, and it's like, this is the most boring fucking movie. Next. And then I suggested Prey, which is up watching that, which I'd seen, and Jay hadn't. He's like, I don't know if this is a good movie. And then like 20 minutes in, he's not even paying attention to pumpkin carving, and he's just looking at the movie the whole time, and he's like, actually, this is a pretty good fucking movie. I was like, I fucking told you. Yeah, that was good. Then Jessica came a Thai food place, which, spoiler alert, I have now been to twice this week.
Okay.
Called 90 Degrees Bangkok. Is the best fucking Thai food I have ever fucking... Keep shaking your head at me. Nate know Thai food?
No, Nate loved Thai food. Nate is Indonesian. Nate knows Thai food.
Is that what that is?
Yes. Well, it's similar region.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, holy fuck, Nate. This Thai food, like, if I had gone home and not gone to another haunted house Sunday night, I would have been happy
Okay.
with the haunted house crawl. That's how good this fucking Thai food was.
I hear that, and I almost hear the same thing from, like my friends in Wisconsin go, I found the best taco place in Wisconsin. Right?
Do you guys not have good Thai food down there?
We have great Thai food down here, and it's still not as good as the stuff I grew up on.
Well, we have, because we're Washington, so we get all of the Asian, all of the West.
Mm-hmm. No, I know. Again,
West stuff over here.
I'm in LA.
And so sometimes we get some really fucking good
some bangers,
stuff.
yeah.
But man, this Thai food, I know, like, in its ordering, it was pretty fucking normal, but it's like pizzazz and technique. And also, like, just, like, we went to this fucking hole-in-the-wall place, and I was like,
those are the best places.
Like, well, the prices are reasonable. $10 for a dish. That's pretty fucking cheap. Huge fucking portions. Like, they had fucking, they called it something different, probably. It was crab ragoon, but they used the rice crisp pastry.
Mm-hmm.
Holy fuck. Like, it was so perfect and delicate, like a flower. And then I had the beef pad thai, and like, I've had pad thai at places. I like pad thai. Pad thai is great. But man, this fucking sauce, like, I don't know what the fuck they did with the beef, but the beef was like already caramelized and shit. And I was like, what the fuck is this joyous deliciousness that I'm putting in my fucking mouth? It was fucking fine. And then I apparently blew everyone's fucking minds by the way that I closed my takeout box.
Oh.
Yeah, like, so we were getting ready to go because we had to get on the road because we got to go hit some, school night for his kids, and I'm going to get back south. And so we got takeout boxes because they gave us a fuck ton of food. And I was like, this food is too good. I want to take this. They were like, oh yeah, and the food's really good here, and like, it's great, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. But anyway, they gave us, Chinese food takeout boxes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
we all know the style. Yes.
It had never fucking occurred to me that someone could know the wrong way to close the fucking Chinese food takeout box.
They've got tabs that lock into each other.
I know. I just did it, and Jay's daughter was paying attention, and she's like, what the fuck did you just do to that box? And I was like, and I'm so taken aback by this comment. And I'm like, what?
Like, who the fuck are you who hasn't been on this planet for 20 years?
Right?
Yeah. Don't tell me how to fucking close a box. Yeah.
I was so fucking taken aback. I was like, I'm looking around for somebody else's box. Like, is she actually talking to me? And we're sitting at a booth table.
Right.
So I was like, what? What do you mean? She's like, your box, it's holding together. And I was like,
That's what it's supposed to do. Yes.
My box?
Yeah.
And so I guess it was such a shock to her. And she was like, Dad, look at the way Tim closed his fucking takeout box. And Jay looks at me and he's like, what? And I was like, haven't you been to way more countries than me? Like, I don't understand. Like, how are you guys doing your box? Fucking the fucking tab outwards. And I'm just like,
yeah, no.
that's not how it goes. Tuck it in because then it has a lock and then the force of the box holds the tab together. And they're looking at me like I just fucking
you showed them fire
with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, you showed them fire.
And like Jay's daughter did her box like that. She starts moving around. She's like, oh my God, it doesn't come undone. And Jay, who's older than me, I might add, closer in your age. And he's like, I've never thought about it, but that is the correct way to fold the box. Yeah. And I don't know why we've been doing it the other way.
This is Origami 101.
And I was just like, I've never thought about it. That's just the logical way to do it.
Right?
Anyways, I thought that was a worthwhile anecdote because the amount of shock at the table. And even my wife was like, yeah, that's
how you do it.
Wait, that's what you do. So anyway, we go to this farm, which I might add had more journeys of hilarious ox things with the most uncomfortably like sexy wet pussy ass fucking rap music that was playing courtesy of Jay's daughter. And there was a certain point where Jay was like, he's like, I love rap, but you're my daughter, and even this music is making me fucking uncomfortable. So we get to the farm. It's a very good line for the haunted house. We're swapping stories for how we make our own haunted house. And then we go in the haunted house, which interestingly, they had like a lock room with like a TV where they had like a 1 minute like little like story. Like here's the story of this haunted house. And I was like, oh, okay. That's cool.
A little pre-Q entertainment kind of thing.
Yeah. And then what was interesting was, they have it and we're like looking around and then we kind of realized that like nothing's happening. But then we realized there's like a door slightly cracked behind us we hadn't seen. And I was like, oh, okay. So the first part of the haunted house was well made, good, but the sense I got was old.
Okay.
Like the set's been here a while. They've been doing this for many years and we have not updated stuff. And the dust is in fact real dust and not set dressing.
Right.
But fuck it, because it's a haunted house. So just why would you dust? You know what I mean? So we had a couple of good jump scares here and there for some actors. It's nice. Kind of mid-tier budget. Then we got maybe about 75% of the way through. And Jay was in front of me and we got to one of the... it also had a catwalk thing with a spinny thing. And Jay was going in front of me and he was like wobbling all over the place. And then he like fucking falls down all the fucking way onto the catwalk. I'm laughing at him because he's my friend.
Right.
This grown ass man is defeated by a spinny broom. But it was bad enough. A fucking stagehand had to come out, turn the house lights on, stop the spinny thing. I helped Jay get up. And she was just giving him a look of like,
yep.
Seriously?
Yeah, we do this.
Seriously. And then she pointed us to the next. And then we got out and then we got kind of chased by a chainsaw dude. It was all right. It was very middle of the road. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing to write home about it.
Right.
The next
8
portion,
of 10 kind of thing.
Yeah. Like I would recommend it. I would keep it in the rotation for next year, but nothing like. Then the next part we could not have prepared ourselves for because it was not a haunted trail, and so we didn't know anything about it other than it said haunted trail, and it was was part of our ticket, and we were doing it. And so we were at the entrance, and then Jay's daughter had a little bit of a panic attack about like the previous haunted house that we'd just been through, which was not that scary, had like scared the shit out of her.
Sure.
And she was like, I don't think I can do the haunted trail. Daddy, don't make me go in. We left her with a stagehand, haunted trail. And several things were immediately apparent. Haunted Trail's budget and set design was on a whole ass other level. We were like, holy fuck. Like, in comparison, we just done the haunted house.
Right.
And then the haunted house dumps you out of the back of this barn and then just rides the trail into the Lee or whatever.
Right. And exit through the gift shop. Yeah,
basically. And then we entered this trail, and the entire thing from beginning to end was themed 1800s mining town.
Oh.
Pretty good setting, I might add.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we went through mines, we went through the slaughterhouse, we went through a haunted whorehouse. There was
typical Seattle shit, right?
No. Well,
I've done the underground. I know why the sidewalks are glass.
Yeah, like there was tons of actors, there was tons of sets, there was tons of lighting effects, fog, sounds. The set designs were so fucking intricate and like complicated. Like really like you're someplace else, or like you walked onto the set of like a decent
Deliverance,
TV show or something. It was really good. And like there was a certain point where I checked my watch, and you know, the previous haunted houses we'd all done were in about the 13 to 14, pretty much all of them,
right?
Even the big one. And I look at my watch, and my watch says 17 minutes, and I'm like, holy fuck, we're not out of this thing
right
yet. Like, what the fuck is this wild ass thing? And it's interesting because it's like, it's so long. You like go through different stages of emotions. Oh, this is really cool set design. Oh my god, there's a lot of actors, things, and a lot of like, where's the end? And I'm getting uncomfortable. What else does this trail have for me? You know, there was one particular good line from the because we went through the haunted whorehouse, and there was an actress, and she was like 25 cents if you let me do it with the girl. I was like, holy shit.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, there's fucking slaughterhouse. There's a fucking carnival at some point we went through. Like, it was ridiculous. All said and told, by the end, including several chase segments with a chainsaw man, like we walked through that thing, and it was 23 minutes. Like, oh,
that's pretty good.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Then we went and collected Jay's daughter, and we just happened to be the last people. And so, like, yeah, this attraction's only been here 2 years. And then she said the most recent quarter mile of it was added this year. And I was like, oh,
quarter mile?
What?
Yeah.
I mean, it was long.
Yeah.
Like it, you know, and we were walking at a decent, not like a brisk walking, because the path was really windy, and it was all set.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was all set, and it had a different atmosphere because it was outside. Like, you could see the actual night sky and stuff. And so, like, they had like fake fog, but it just so happened that night was also kind of foggy on its own. So it was just like totally like kind of perfect, you know? But she was saying, oh yeah, no, like, and we were like, well, how many actors? She was like, we have 33 actors in the Haunted Trail. I was like, holy shit. Like, that's a lot of fucking people to pay, you know? And then it clicked on us when she said it. She's like, well, it's the same group who puts on the Georgetown Morgue in Seattle. And I was like, oh, so it's the pros. That makes total sense why this is like top tier stuff. Set design, acting, props, practical effects, etc. We were just like, that is like really cool, and like that's like one of the best things we've done ever on our haunted house crawl, and this is now has a permanent place in our yearly
in your rotation.
Yeah. So yeah, we were just totally taken back by how good it was, especially considering how. So I was like, damn, ooh, team. And then like, because we walked all the way out to the parking lot with this lady, we were like, how long did it take them to build? And then she's like, oh, well, that quarter mile that they added this year, they've been working on it pretty much day and night since March. And I was like, holy shit.
Right.
That's a long time to actually construct something. As someone who's in construction, it's on another level. But yeah, no, really, really good. If you're native to Washington, northern, central region, check out Nightmare on 9 at Thomas, the correct farm name. Very surprising. Haunted trail worth it alone, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my live tales.
Cool. Ready to spin?
Earth was tech, right?
What's that?
Earth was tech, right?
Oh shit.
Love how we never know this answer.
Yes.
Okay. Air. What's air?
Video games.
Well, Nate Fu, what have you been playing? Besides Exo Minor at rank 100.
Like, if we go back through from the moment you recommended this game to me to where I am now, it is probably a journey. Because I think 2 weeks ago, last episode, because I edited it, I was at 58. Now I'm at 100.
It makes you feeling better. Since I hit 20 yesterday and moved planets, I've gone up to 26 today.
Yeah. It moves pretty good.
The gains happen a lot, especially after that pro tip.
Yeah.
Hey, autocell. Dude, what a game fucking changer. Holy
And I
shit.
didn't find that out until level 100 when I was like...
it's not like there's a manual that tells you what fucking taps and holds does what on fucking Exo. Ridiculous.
So yeah, I stopped at 100 because I was like, do I really want to go to another planet and do the cycle all over again? Because the 20 level cycle is samey. He's
gonna do it right now. He just opened his foldable phablet.
Exo Minor. Take my free spin. Shop.
Get your calendar. Get your credits.
Yep.
Do you have all the dudes yet?
I'm now level 101. Rank 101.
Do you have all the people?
I have 17 of 20. Let's see.
I still have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are level 4.
Dang.
1, 2, 3, 4 are level 2. Sorry, 5 are level 2.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So yeah, you made me do it. Gotta put my best bot on this one.
So yeah, still playing Exo Minor. That terrible game that I mentioned.
Thanks, Tim.
Downhill Smash. I'm still fucking playing this atrocious, yet I can't seem to put it down. Absolutely just fucking...
Hold on. My wife is home and she's clawing at the door.
Okay. We do a brief intermission while Nate goes to see what's up with the wife. Will he be in trouble? Will she be smashed? Will she be upset with him? Or will they have a lovely, warm, normal husband-wife embrace and will be A-okay? We'll find out shortly on the Fork in Your Ear podcast, brought to you by Skype, me, Mrs. Foo's giggle there, that hopefully made it in the recording. He's returned wearing his 9-inch nails shirt. He apparently kneed his balls or his knee into something. Will he be okay? I'm sure he'll tell us shortly, as he looks at me with just sad abandon. Nate, tell the folks at home, how's it going?
It's fine. Wife got home. She was knocking at the door. Apparently, she left her house keys in my car.
Oh, yeah, that's an oopsie.
So, yeah.
I heard a loud giggle. I hope it makes it into the edit.
We shall see. Yeah. Wife had a good night, I'm assuming.
Okay. That's what I kind of got from the giggle. Because when you went off camera, I was doing like a newsroom kind of doing. Nate has left the building.
I'll hear it find out shortly when I listen. Yes.
If so we'll see. But yeah, still playing Downhill fucking Smash. Still don't recommend it. But I'm still playing it, so that's some kind of recommendation right there. Just know that it's diseased corpse of microtransaction hell, very much still apparent. But god damn it, I'm gonna quote unquote beat this game.
I play a game on my phone called Everyday Puzzles. Okay. And it was just one of those, like, I fire it up, I play through at that point, 6 puzzles they give you. It's 2 crosswords, a Sudoku, like a Wordle type thing.
Yeah.
And they made an update that added levels, make numbers go up kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost, hate playing it now. Because, I logged in. They did
now
this.
You have incentive.
Right, but I logged in.
Have an incentive.
I logged in, and all of my past achievements carried forward. So I literally.
So you got retroactive levels?
I got retroactive levels, and I went from level 1 to level 23 in 20 minutes of clicking OK. Get coins, okay. Get coins, okay. Get levels, okay. I'm like, Jesus. I don't need that in my games. I like my coffee golf.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? For sure. It's not rife with all this bullshit.
Yeah. No, and I'm playing a game that is totally full of bullshit.
Right?
But you know what? For the few minutes when it's not laden with bullshit and you're actually playing the game, it is still a riot.
Yeah, I'm waiting for someone else to put some coffee golf scores into our Discord channel.
Yeah,
there's 4 of us?
Dame or Daniel, they all have it.
Right? Why is our daily motivational not playing this game yet?
I don't know. I'm busy.
No, our daily motivational.
I don't.
Sean, is it Sean?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right?
I mean, golf might not be his thing.
It's a game. It's not golf.
Yeah, but he's a JRPG guy. If this was daily JRPG golf, that might be enticing to the old Sean boy. Cookmaster of Sundays.
It's called coffee golf for a reason, Sean. You play it while you drink your morning cup of coffee. And...
yeah, unless you're like me when you're drinking your morning cup of coffee as you fucking hit the road.
Or your morning poo, or whatever. And if you score a 10, you score a 10. We'll laugh at you for it, and we move on.
But other than that, I have pretty much exclusively been playing Spider-Man.
Yep.
Played and beat Spider-Man Remastered. Once again, my statement about the DLC is still true. It's great, but the enemies are needlessly spongy. Played through Spider-Man Miles Morales. It was interesting because I haven't replayed it since I only played the PS4. So it was interesting playing it kind of the way it was meant to be played, since it was a launch title for PS5.
Okay.
So I remember Miles Morales having an extremely strong story, and I still think that's true, but in retrospect now, there are some things in the story that are a little rushed, and there's some things that are just straight up like, I don't remember this being a problem the first time I'm looking at this story now, and I'm like, the fuck? So I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's an extremely digestible game. Miles is 100% more fun. I said this way back in the day, and Miles is more fun to play than specifically because stealth is a extremely viable option with Miles because he can fucking go invisible, whereas Peter Parker's game plus Spider-Man, Batman,
Okay.
Arkham Knight kind of stealth. Sure. Whereas you still have that same thing because they play very similarly. But Miles has bioelectricity and the ability to go. And the invisible is basically, it's on a regenerating cooldown that when you activate it, basically the more physical movement things you do, the quicker your invisibility drops out the bottom. So you could, like, if you're quick, you could be like, okay, I'm going to web zip to the wall. I see this guard down here. One guard turns away. I can yank this guard up and web him to the wall and then zip somewhere else so that I'm in cover and not seen. So the stealth aspects of playing Miles are way more fun. It's a part that I thoroughly enjoy about those two Spider-Man games, most fucking stealth games, and like Spider-Man.
Right, it's kind of part and parcel for the character.
Yeah, no, for sure. But then also like the bioelectricity stuff is like really cool. So basically in the first game, you have 3 bars that fill up that allow you to do like a finishing combo as Peter. And then in Miles, you have those 3 bars, but you have a second set of 3 bars that fills up on top of those 3 bars. That's basically like a instant kill, but like awesome movement type attack. You have like a launching fist forward. You have you can like electrify the ground and throw people up in the air. You have like a smash and that sort of thing. And it's just really cool and satisfying because at any point you feel like overwhelmed in combat. If there's like a ton of dudes and you're taking a ton of damage and you're not Spidey sense dodging to live. If you have the buildup on the bar, you can just hold L1 and hit square, and then you have a fucking electric punch, and you just fucking wham and take out a bunch like fucking area.
It's almost like a super.
Yeah, a little bit actually. It probably is way more like a super than even the finishing combos from the first Spider. And you know, the finale of Miles Morales still really tugged at my heartstring, kind of tearing up again in like almost the exact same spots. I was like, God damn it. Yeah. I do remember thinking this in my first time through the playthrough. There's a particular boss fight, the third to the last boss fight in the game, and it is so needlessly long and pointless and frustrating and badly designed that it doesn't even feel like it's in the right game, unfortunately. And it kind of sucks because it's about a key pivotal story moment for Miles, played many times, and it's just like the moment's occurring, but there's this boss fight around it, and the boss fight is just and it brings the moment down a lot.
Sure.
Because you're just like, holy fuck, when is this? I don't remember what I was saying.
You were talking about Spider-Man. I know that much.
Yeah, I was talking about Miles Morales. It was great. Then all the horse shit happened.
Yeah.
But before I get into Spider-Man 2, though, I did want to say, last podcast, it is known that I am now Game Pass Ultimate-less. In Seattle, as it were, and still cleaning out. I finally cleaned out all, and it occurs to me that I am dumb because the multiplayer component of Halo Infinite is indeed free. And I was like, oh. So I fired up Halo Infinite because I was excited to check out the Forge stuff now that people are making fucking campaign shit.
Right.
And so I fired up some custom campaign levels and some my immediate thoughts were, number 1, oh, I have forgotten how to fight the Covenant. Or the Forge AI is extra spicy.
Huh?
Can't tell which.
Oh.
But no, I played a firefight map based on the 2 main locations you go to in the second Halo mission in Halo 1.
Right.
Which were wonderful locations. This were very authentic. It was great. I lost, of course, because I'm apparently bad at Halo, which is I checked out a couple custom campaign missions. I checked out one where you're fighting the Covenant Star Wars Star Destroyer, which is weird.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, because why not? I did another one that was set in like a snow area, which is interesting. How many snow areas?
Right. Not Small Holla.
Yeah, no, not Small Holla. Although I do recommend people check that out. And then I played another one that was labeled as work in progress, beta, don't judge me. Like I'm still building it. And it was called Grunt Rebellion.
Sure.
And it had I could see the workings of it. It had the layouts of like a typical Halo level, just with really basic geometry and stuff. And you start as a prisoner, but with grunts that are on your side, and you're leading these grunts with a ball against like Covenant and stuff, and it's pretty satisfying, I might add. It's not fully built yet, so kudos to whoever the guy is. Though I have to take this time to rag my friend Daniel, who said he was going to get on in just a jiffy and join me in these endeavors last night on a whim. And not only did he not get on, but 2 hours later, I was angrily texting him being like, you motherfucker. Like, my time is valuable too, man. I could have been fucking playing Spider-Man. Like, we're doing other shit. And instead, you're like, fucking show up. Like, all you have to do is be like, oh man, fucking I'm waylaid through or something. And I would have gone about my day instead of waiting.
Right.
No communication. And then, of course, today, I finally, 2 weeks late and $1 short, got to dive into Spider-Man 2. And you've taken off your headset and you're moving away from the chair. He's pointing.
Oh, I can still hear you.
He's making gesticulations. What are you doing?
I'm going to open a window.
Okay, go open the window. I'm not going to talk anything about the graphics since we already talked about that in tech. I'll say so far is very good. The thing for me, there's a couple of things. So I don't think I'm 100% in love with Spider-Man 2 yet. I say that because there's a ton of changes to the game. And just coming off of Spider-Man Remastered, it's a little jarring. So something that's very jarring to me, but maybe it's better in context. I'm not sure yet. So Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Spider-Man Remastered, they had a weapon wheel or a gadget wheel, I guess, and that is seemingly gone in 2, replaced with only 4 gadgets. You hold down R1, and then those are tied to your face buttons now. I don't know at this time if I like it or not. And then the other thing that's really throwing me is none of the gadgets are the same gadget the previous games.
Sure.
So I'm just like, like the gadgets are cool, and it seems like they have effective combat use, and being able to like quickly select which one based on face buttons is simpler than a weapon, which I totally get. I don't know if it's an improvement or not. Another thing that's holding me back on knowing if it's an improvement or not is and also there's like a lot of upgrades. So it may very well be, and I guess I'll start using this as a term now, it may very well be a Pikmin 4 situation where it's not great now, but once I get all the upgrades, it might be better. So that's definitely a big change. Another big change that really fucked me up, like immediately, and you'll watch it on the stream where like everything's going super cool and you're swinging, and then I just kind of crash into a building and I'm fighting a tree, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I have no earthly idea what fucking possessed them to put inverted as the default for the fucking game for the camera, but that fucked me up royally. I like you can see a moment on stream about 10 minutes in after the cutscenes stop and I'm playing the game where I'm like, oh, this is cool, and then I'm like, I'm looking at the sky. What is happening? Is the camera broken? Am I locked on to something? What the fuck is? I just hit a tree. How do I get out of this? And then after a few seconds, I'm like, oh, it's inverted.
Right.
Gross. Who the fuck would choose this? So dumb. Another huge change to the combat again, and I don't know if I like it. And in general, I dislike parry systems. The game has a parry system. I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
It hasn't asked me too much to parry, but as the game, it could be a great parry system or it could be a shitty one. But yeah, we'll see. So Miles still has his electric powers from his game, and they work very similarly. So that is a good carryover. And since Peter didn't have those powers, he has a power set not like it's totally different, but it's functionally somewhat similar to Miles's powers, with like an area attack and get a bunch of enemies. And so for him, he has his little like spider arm leg things that the Tom Holland Spider-Man has, which you get access to. And that works pretty well. Also working with the same principle as Morales' game before this. You have combo stuff and you have special ability stuff. The difference now between this and the prior games were instead of having bars stacked on, you have your combo bars, and now in the bottom you have your 4 abilities and they have circular recharge. Other than that, for the most part so far, control-wise, it works very similarly, apart from those key changes. Obviously, the big one that's been in all of the stuff is the web wings. So in addition to swinging at any time when you have speed, you can hit triangle. Spider-Man lore and comic books, little web wings. So you go like all wingsuity and stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. I am not good at it because, again,
it's gimmicky.
When you go wingsuity, the controls switch to flight controls, which are naturally inverted, and I still have them inverted because I'm like, well, I do play flight games inverted, but also, and so I'm switching back and forth between inverted, and I feel like I'm going to change it, and maybe I'll start having more fun with it. I don't hate the wingsuit.
Again, it's gimmicky. Yeah.
It is a gimmick, but in the purposes of like, because something that is a legitimate problem, remastered in Miles Morales, is when you're swinging and then you swing badly and then you lose all your momentum. And then you gotta kind of ramp back up again. That's particularly frustrating in like car chases or any kind of chase that you have in the game, which happens. So in this sense, you can swing, you can then glide over like a short building, then go back into a swing. I think in the end, it'll probably be a good addition to the traversal mechanic. But we'll see. Yeah, that's much all I got to say about like gameplay changes. The only other thing that I could say is the epic cinematic blockbustery spectacular type moments that were, there's a good portion of them in Miles and Remastered. Seems like they've jacked that quotient way the fuck up in Spider-Man 2, at least so far in the 3 hours that I've played.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very blockbuster and like to give you an idea of something that happened, it's a slight spoiler, but there was a sequence where there was like a boat that was careening into the harbor and the fucking blades of the big old fucking freight boat were like chewing up a fucking dock, and there's all these crazy fucking wood physics, and there's people falling everywhere and you're grabbing them, but then you're fighting people, but then like all these physics things are happening, and it's just like, holy shit, there's a lot going on. And part of it is like, ooh, well, it's a sequel, so we need to go bigger and better. And then another part of it is like, you can tell probably the programmer's like, look at what our physics sims can do now with the new hardware. Look at it go. Look at what we can do. Look at all the particles. Go forth. Like, I just know that there's some programmer going somewhere like, excellent. More destruction. Excellent.
Unlimited power.
Yeah, pretty much. And then one other thing that is a huge change. you do play as Miles and Peter Parker, and it seems like story forces you to switch. So,
okay,
if you're a fan of that kind of thing, that's a take it or leave it kind of thing. And then when you're in the open world, you can freely switch between the two.
Okay.
But what's really interesting, though, and I found this out completely by accident, was like when you switch, you get like a little icon on your HUD, Spider-Man at or whatever. And I found myself either by random or by some really, really clever, like I couldn't see it kind of programming happen, where I would bump in to the other Spider-Man doing like regular ass open world shit.
Right.
Like there was like, because you get random crimes that pop up
Sure.
on your HUD, which has been a thing in Spider-Man video games for
Right.
a long, long time now, involved in this. And like I went to go like stop like a rooftop mugging or something, and I swing up there as Peter, and Miles is already there. And then they have an exchange like, oh, you're already here? Cool. Well, let me get this guy. And then like you guys start working together, and it's just very natural. And I'm like, that's actually pretty fucking cool.
Right.
You know? And like, I guess maybe their AI system is programmed to when you're not the other person, the other Spider-Man goes off on an AI path to crimes, would be my guess. Because when I finished that combat and Miles and Pete are like, oh, hey, yeah, cool. You know, and then Miles takes off and you watch him, you know, go off and swing through the city. And it's like, huh. But then I could see like another thing pop up and I could see him going towards that. And I'm like, huh. That's interesting. That's and then like there was another one where I did like another crime and there was a cult thing happening with people trying to burn a building down or something. And there was like this trucker and there's a bunch of dudes and I was getting and I was like fighting and I was not doing so well. And I was about to like die. And then like in the last second, like Miles swoops in out of camera and like fucking saves my ass. And he's like, sorry, Pete, I was late. You know, and I was like, what? That's fucking so cool.
Right.
Like it just happens, you know? And I'm like, that feels really cool. Know that can occur, but
right. And that both Miles and Peter exist in that city.
Yeah. And then I think and then possibly a technological reason why that is happening is because so when you do the fast travel thing, it has a really show-offy, ooh, look at our tech and how cool we can load things, where you swap and it like pulls the camera back and like flies across New York to the other person. And
Sure.
they're like doing something and then you get to take control. And like sometimes they're on a perch. Or I swapped to Miles and he was like mid-swing. And I was like, oh, what? So I almost wonder if maybe they are on an AI run routine and
sure,
and you just pop to them doing whatever
yeah,
you were doing. But it does, and it makes it feel cooler than, oh, I'm swapping characters. Here's a loading screen, and now I'm this character in the exact same spot.
I'm in Miles' apartment, and then you
go be them wherever they are doing stuff,
right?
And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I might add.
Yeah, it'd be one thing to swap constantly between, you know, Peter and Miles's apartments, and then you go and do, as opposed to, I flew into his head mid-swing.
Yeah.
So,
and I will point out, this is not the first game to do something like this. Grand Theft Auto 5, which has 3 people, all the way back to the 360, you could freely swap at any time, but then they would hover there while they loaded. For a bit, and then it would zoom down, and they too would be doing something sometimes.
Right.
So it's a little bit of that thing. Just instead of that and loading, it's bam.
Sure.
To whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'll probably have a lot more to say. Get more into it.
Yeah, because we're gonna have following casts.
Yeah, because there will be more casts, at the very least, for next month.
But then, yeah, back into the Discord, you mentioned the Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater.
Yeah, so there's a partner preview. I did not watch it, to be fully clear.
Okay.
But I did post an image. I guess there was a 40-minute thing. They showed off Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Karo Will Not Die, Still Wakes in the Deep, RoboCop Rogue City, which is, I'm hearing a lot of good things about it.
About RoboCop? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing a lot of, I'm hearing things like, man, it's an unfinished mess, but fuck, it's fun.
Right.
And it's RoboCop.
Right.
Like a real RoboCop game.
Right. And it's like oh, look, there's weapons, but you can still go with the Auto 9. And that's why you play RoboCop.
You know? Dungeons of the Hinterberg, Spirit of the North 2, The Finals, Manor Lords, Ark Survival Ascend, and more on Alan Wake 2, which just came out yesterday. And
isn't Ark Survival Ascended the where is it that what's his name from Fast and Furious? Vin Diesel.
Oh, Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
I think that's Ark 2. I don't know what Survival Ascended is. Because Ark, the normal one, is called Ark Survival Evolved, I think.
Right.
Because they kind of aped Halo's thing. I have no fucking idea what Survival Ascended is.
Yeah.
I have no fucking idea.
I've got one of my Discords that's playing it. Apparently they're happy with it.
Okay.
So.
Some people like that fucking trash game.
Sure.
I have a friend who likes Ark. I don't like Ark.
I don't either.
Ark is a bad.
It's not a bad game. It's just not your game.
Just to speak briefly on Alan Wake 2, which I am sad that I could not because I am a big Alan Wake is getting like nothing but 10s, 9.5s across the. People are saying that it's so fucking good it makes Alan Wake 1 look like a rough draft, and I'm like, ooh, Alan Wake 1's like good,
right?
So that's interesting. But it's also been 15 years, and they've made. Because what did they do? They did Alan Wake. They did a small DLC for Alan Wake. Then they did Quantum Break. They did a multiplayer shooter that didn't go well. And then they did Control.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're back to... But I don't know. I've heard nothing but good things about Alan Wake 2.
Sure.
It's the sequel to the cult classic that we believed into existence. And now it's here. I'm excited to get to that eventually. Remastered at some point through games that I own in the foreseeable future.
Right.
But the big surprise, and I did watch this video, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eater, which is the remake of Metal Gear Solid being made internally by Metal Gear team. It is being made in Unreal Engine 5. They showed off first gameplay. It's Metal Gear Solid 3 on Unreal Engine 5. It's cool, and it's very interesting and kind of a stab in Sony's eye, because unless I'm mistaken, in the Sony press conference earlier this year, it was revealed, and there it is at the Xbox thing. And it's coming out on Xbox with the gameplay,
right,
which is more substantive than a fucking CGI. Yeah. I'm getting the sense that now that Microsoft become an extremely large player in the gaming space with their that has changed some things for developers. Be like, oh, you have Call of Duty now? Well, yeah, we should probably put your game on there because we want your. So yeah, that'll be interesting. The gist. So I like this trailer, but I do agree with the internet. Even though it's an official trailer and it shows gameplay, it does look like every single fucking fan project ever, where it's like, ooh, here's X old game in Unreal.
Right.
Because that's what it is. And also the trailer itself is kind of poorly cut.
Yes.
And I know that's a small
literally
thing.
Watched it while you were talking about.
Yeah, that's a small thing, but at the same time, the thing about Metal Gear is that all of them are cinematic masterpieces, as well as their trailers are eye-popping, catchy. They're things to stand up and look at and be, ooh. And this is not indicative of that. I have no doubt they're going to replicate camera angles. We're hearing that this is like a direct remaster, and so they're going to be using all of the original music and dialogue and sound effects and stuff. And this game came out on the PS2, and I don't know. There is some question as to how good the quality of the audio is going to be on some of this stuff.
Right.
Because this is Konami, who's lost source code to games. So we'll see.
Boom.
We'll see. It should also be noted now that I just remembered, the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection Volume 1 is available now. And it's apparently bad. It's real bad. My understanding is Metal Gear Solid 1 is running at 1 to 20 frames a second.
Jesus.
This is a fucking PS1 game. For fuck's sake. They've promised to fix it. It has been recently revealed that the Metal Gear Solid collection were not able to use the Bluepoint remasters that they did during the 360 PS3 era. Bluepoint is now a studio owned by Sony, the Colossus, and tons of others, but now they're owned by Sony, and I guess now that they're owned by Sony, they can't use the code that Bluepoint used to make those bitches sing. So now it's just whomever the fuck did the ports.
Sure.
And they did bad ports. And it's like, that ain't it, bro.
That's some bureaucracy bullshit that I fucking hate about the industry. Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Speaking of bureaucracy, you posted the new org chart for the Xbox gaming division.
Yeah, you want to get into that as you've been yawning up a storm there?
Sure. Apparently, Microsoft Gaming is kind of restructured with the new acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and they put out an org chart and put Phil Spencer as the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, and named a new person, Sarah Bond, as the new president of Xbox.
She's less new. She's been working at Xbox for, I think, over 6 years
but
now.
she's now the president, right?
But yes, she is now of Xbox and Xbox hardware, I believe.
Right, and now you have Matt Booty, which, chuckle.
He's been there a long time. I think he's been a huge producer.
Sure, but now he's the president of Game Content and Studios.
Okay.
So, yeah, they've restructured, like, kind of put Phil Spencer out of the day-to-day stuff, put him in charge of.
I think we've kind of known that for a long time, because he actually got this title of president or CEO of Microsoft way back at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then nothing kind of changed. And I kind of figured with the size of their recent acquisition, all 76 fucking billion of it.
Right.
They would have to do some restructuring to get the studios in line, keep what they have going, but then kind of bring things into the wings and bring in more.
Right.
I also saw an ancillary thing. I don't have a ton of data on this, so this is kind of hearsay, but I remember seeing something about there's a longtime producer at Bethesda that is retiring next year, and Bethesda is getting a little more closer under the Xbox thumb now.
Sure.
Even though they've owned them. But analysts were pointing out
they've owned them, but they really haven't done anything with them.
Yeah, they just let them kind of be Bethesda.
Yeah. Which personally, I've been kind of happy with.
Yeah. For the misses, for all the things. I think that's fine, but obviously they need to not miss.
Sure.
I didn't play Redfall, but I know it just recently got a huge patch and got fixed, 8 months later. We'll see. Times are changing for Xbox.
Yeah.
It feels like those science projects where you're doing like the weight distribution in water.
Sure.
And Xbox has just become this really huge weight in water, moving everything around it now.
Right.
With this acquisition.
And again, you posted this org chart. The left side, like, that kind of makes sense. It's the right side that is now answering to Phil Spencer that makes, like, I'm more curious about that.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about these people, this Cynthia, this Kari, this Linda, this Tim Stewart.
Right.
I don't know anything about those people.
Corporate vice president of human resources, communications, and finance, right?
Yeah, but So I saw a thing on Bloomberg that said with Activision Blizzard, Xbox now accounts for 53% of Microsoft's profits.
Sure.
Which is now more than Windows. And I was like, holy shit. I mean, I believe it with the size of juggernaut that Call of Duty is.
Sure.
So it's interesting. It's interesting. I just hope they make all the right moves.
Right, and don't pull a Sony where Sony was like, oh, hey, PlayStation is fucking financing our nut.
I mean, it very really is for Microsoft, but
right,
Microsoft does have their highs.
Right.
So we'll see. Also, with the appointment of Sarah Bond as the Xbox CEO, this has once again started the rumor mill of them going after Sega as an acquisition. Because Sega or Sarah Bond is a self-proclaimed head of Xbox.
I'd like, honestly, as much as I would love that, I think Nintendo's kind of gobbled up Sega soundly at this point, and Sega's fine with that.
What? No. Sega's more in bed with Microsoft now than anybody else.
You think? Even with all the crossover with the Sega Mario stuff? Or the Sonic Mario stuff?
That doesn't mean shit.
Okay.
And also, they haven't done this crossover in years for like a console gen. That's like back in the Wii days.
Okay.
No, the fact that Sega went and made ports for all their Persona games that were previously PlayStation exclusive, their Yakuza games that now do, like all of that stuff, and the fact that Sega is doing well as a publisher and developer now, Light Studios, and the fact that they're Japanese, that's like been the one Achilles heel to the Xbox brand is they don't have a stake in the Japanese market. And not only would that give them credit there, but it would also give them JRPG credit.
Sure. Okay.
Which they've tried in the past by having the literal fucking creator of Final Fantasy make JRPGs that were very good JRPGs. But they just weren't Final. Like, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And then you made a thing about Bobby.
Oh, yeah, I made that comment. Like, you showed the org chart, and he's on there as the CEO of Activision Blizzard. And I said, I'm sure that's just procedural.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
It's all in the...
Yeah.
So that's video games. Oh, and I had also heard that already. Spider-Man 2.
Oh, good.
Which... doesn't surprise me in the fucking slightest because you have two things here.
Are there 2.5 million PS5s in existence at this point?
Yes, there are. Oh, you know what we didn't talk about?
No.
That's not in any of the stuff. We didn't talk about the PS5 Slim.
I don't want to talk about the PS5 Slim.
You don't want to talk about how you have to pay You don't have to talk about how you have to pay $30 for a disk drive that apparently has internet check-in. You don't want to talk about these things?
No, because this is some Sony. This is some Sony fucking bullshit that anyone can get from anywhere else.
The disk drive is really cute. Like I understand it for like
that the Slim costs more than the original, right? Like, okay, Sony. Okay, PlayStation division. Stop.
But it's 25% smaller.
Hell, but it's...
Which is a good thing, because it's a fucking behemoth.
Yeah. Something you're never going to remove from your entertainment center. Who gives a fuck? It's not... It's not... No, I'm done. I'm not going to talk about it. It's bullshit. It's some Sony... It's some Sony fucking bullshit.
I don't like Sony's weird ass... You've seen pictures of it, right?
Yeah.
It's got that weird... Like, it has the two white fins. It just looks like a PS5, just smaller.
Yeah.
Like, in all physical dimensions. But then they have a weird...
It's the Eye of Sauron...
slash.
Mini, yeah.
It has a weird slash on both of the fins that just looks fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
You know, if it didn't already look bizarre enough, I might add.
How can we make this look like a Wi-Fi router even more?
Right.
Right. And then we're going to upsell you on standard conveniences. Can you stand it on its side? No. Some Sony fucking bullshit. Yeah.
Not without a $30 piece of clear plastic.
Right.
It's like just a foot. It's the most garbage ass fucking looking thing I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
So dumb. So dumb.
I'm so mad. Like, I'm so mad about this whole thing.
You're so mad. You don't even play PlayStation.
I don't, and I'm so like pissed off about this. I'm like, I don't. No, I'm not talking about it, Tim.
Okay.
Okay.
It kind of sounds like you just talked about it. So.
Yeah.
PS5 Slim coming November.
Yeah.
It's not actually called the PS5 Slim.
Yeah.
We are referring to that.
Pay more for less. Yeah.
Well, that's gaming, which leaves us with just one
entertainment.
All right. Well, let's get the deaths out of the way. What's the death I don't know about?
Did you ever watch Night Court back in the day?
No, I've heard of it, and I've probably, like anything that was in reruns, I've probably seen an episode or two without knowing.
Yeah, Night Court, Bull Shannon.
I'm aware of the show.
Yeah, Richard Bull passed away at like the age of 80.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyone that knew Bull Shannon knew Bull Shannon.
Okay.
So
does that one hit you personally?
Yeah, it did. Like, I grew up kind of watching Night Court. It was one of my fun shows, and when they tried to reboot it with what's her name from Big Bang Theory,
okay,
as his daughter, it missed because there was a certain magic with the original Night Court.
So I'm actually more familiar with this guy than I thought.
Yeah,
because he is the voice of my generation's Two-Face series.
He's got chops.
See, when I read stuff on Reddit, and I'd seen the things today on Two-Face, but my stuff on Reddit didn't mention that he was
right. That's it's a generational leap to get from Bull Shannon to anime.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah.
Genre. My guy.
Okay.
Come on, old man.
Speaking of
Don't you live in California?
Yeah. Speaking of old man, so the other loss in
I have always enjoyed this dude's acting, but I'm also not at all surprised knowing his history with addiction.
Right? Sure. The fact that
Matthew Perry.
Yeah, the fact that he's closer to my age than your age, it hit homes too. And yeah, Matthew Perry, best known as Chandler on Friends, was found dead in his hot tub in his LA home.
Yep.
No foul play is suspected. He was 54.
However, it is well known.
Oh, yeah. He had a history with drug abuse, addiction.
He's done a lot of coke and a lot of booze.
Mm-hmm.
You can even see it in some of the seasons of Friends, where his skin is really red.
Or, when he lost 100 pounds between 2 seasons.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of documentaries out there about Matthew Perry and his life. Like,
I think there's even a lot of stuff where he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
For that.
No, he's been very open about it. So I'll be very curious to find out more about, the autopsy.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. But yeah, Matthew Perry. It's like,
I mean, I'm betting it was drugs. Like, I just.
Sure.
In my head, it's like, well, I've drunk in a hot. You don't fucking pass out. Drugs, on the other hand.
Right. Yeah.
Because my understanding is the heat. I mean, my understanding of it with alcohol in a hot tub would be probably similar with drugs in a hot tub, where the heat exacerbates the speed at which the drugs are going through your system.
Sure.
So if you did like coke or something, and then hot tub, and like, I'm out, and then you fucking fall in the hot tub or whatever.
Speaking from personal experience, I've done plenty of coke and hopped into hot tubs. I've been plenty drunk in plenty of hot tubs. When you start getting into the, the fentanyls and the what was it that took out Michael Jackson?
Oh, that I don't know.
Propofol or whatever it is, right?
Something-thol.
Right. Yeah, when you start getting into those, that's where, like, you could fall asleep and drown in a hot tub. Becomes more likely. And again, you commented on me taking my little before we
with alcohol.
Yeah. Thanks for the judgment, Tim. Great.
Sure.
Again, like, I've been no angel. I will never keep it a secret from anyone that I've had my issues. So this doesn't surprise me. It doesn't shock me. Like you said, like, oh
yeah.
Like
it sucks, and I'm like sad about it, but it's not gonna keep. He had done a ton of drugs all the time, ever.
Right.
Through his whole fucking career. Because when you raking in that kind of money from friends, because everybody knows that.
Sure.
I think they were being paid like fucking $30 million an episode or something fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 90s or the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That was a lot of money then. You know what I mean?
Like, and he started getting film deals from it. The whole 9 series, right?
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So,
well, and then that makes me sad ancillary Bruce Willis earlier this week.
Yeah,
that Bruce Willis has continued going downhill.
He is no longer communicative. Yeah.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Right.
Bruce Willis.
Like, I literally want him to go, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Like,
I mean, that would have been nice because he is definitely on the slow road to.
Yeah. It is not going to, it's just a matter of time before we get that headline that, Bruce Willis passed away at, 63?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Like, how old is he now? I don't know.
Fucking.
Oh, hell, he might be 70 at this point, but like.
68 years old.
Okay, so, 63 might be the right target.
Anyways, in less depressing news, what did you watch this week? And we'll wrap up the show.
Wow. I've been watching a shit ton of Letterkenny.
A show I've still not.
Yeah. Do it. It's good dumb fun.
Well,
it is on.
Hang on.
Hulu.
I'm going. Just don't have Hulu.
Okay. Pirate it. I've been watching that, and I've been watching. I'm keeping up with Loki. Do you still have Disney?
Nope. Can't talk about it. I don't have it. Sorry, man.
God damn it.
I know you were looking forward to talking.
You're killing my vibe because I'm confused as fuck about Loki right now. Especially with where the last episode ended. I'm like, now what the fuck?
Okay. Cool. Groovy. No idea what happened. I've seen things online. I guess Jonathan Majors has shown up. That's all I know.
Yeah, as Victor Timely.
Yeah, I knew that going in.
Thank you for the hearts. I can do that one too. Finished watching Twisted Metal again for the 3rd time.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because I watched it and rewatched it again and then had my buddy come over and watch it. So we finished it for the 3rd time. I still hate the ending.
Car guy if he's heard anything about if they're going to do a fucking 2nd season.
If they're going to do a what?
A 2nd season.
Oh, no. He's a set dresser. I have no idea.
I don't care. He worked on the show. Let me know if there's a fucking 2nd season.
He provided prompts.
And?
That means shit. Yeah.
I don't know how your season.
Yeah.
Your California land Hollywood fucking shit works. I just assume you know anything. Because from all the stories you've told me, you live next to like 60 billion Hollywood icons. And, drive by the Disney lawn on Fridays. Now I'm just talking fucking.
That's actually not true. That's not far from the truth. I drive by Disney Animation Studios all the time, picking up my kids from school.
Okay, so Letterkenny, I'm enjoying that, and have been enjoying.
Yep.
Can't get enough of that ball pit sex, huh?
No.
And paper bags.
And
flaming clowns. I do hope it comes back. Well, I've been watching Gen V. Caught up on that. And
that's a spinoff of what again?
The Boys.
Okay.
Have you checked out that show?
No.
I have zero frame of reference to know if that's up your alley. Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay, so The Boys is a expertly casted. It's from a comic book, one of the off brand comics.
Okay.
And it's about a world of super.
Which one? Top Hat or
way off?
Okay.
It's written by a famous comic book writer, but it's like way the fuck off as far as imprints go.
Okay.
I think it's Dynamite, if I'm not mistaken, which has been around, but definitely off. The gist of the Boys universe is they're superheroes and they're all media trained fuckholes who don't give a fuck about humanity. Yeah. And the Boys is a group of humans who's had a fuck enough and sets about murdering them.
Okay.
That's what the Boys is. So it's superhero stuff to a T, to a cliche, but from the bent of if they were real, they would be horrible people with like media training and PR nightmares.
Sure.
And fuck them. Like basically the opening, like literal 3 minutes of the first episode is like a dude and he's on a cute date or something and he's getting coffee with this girl and it's all lovely, and then a speedster hits the girl and the girl explodes in a shower of blood, and he's just left traumatized and PTSD to the max and stuff.
Oh, I remember
and
seeing
he's just
that.
like,
yeah.
He's like, oops, sorry, dude, and then he speeds off.
Yeah.
And it goes from there. But it's excellent. It's excellent, frighteningly almost real satire of what could be.
Sure.
Is kind of the bent. And then Gen V is the spin-off of that show about superpowered teenagers in a school where things are not what they seem.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And like people have like fucked up powers. Like one of the main characters, like she like cuts herself and she can like control her blood. And another one can shrink, but only if she vomits. Yeah, it's some fucked up. It's from the mind of a Scotsman, so that should tell you something about the writer. Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm enjoying it. I watched the penultimate. It's good if you like the.
And what's that on?
That's an Amazon show.
Okay,
that's why I'm able to watch it.
Maybe I will step into it.
Yeah. I don't know if that's something you would enjoy or hard to say. I also watched Lower Decks. That continues to be great. And I have seen the first 2 episodes. New Rick and Morty. I think I talked a little bit about the last podcast.
Nope.
No, I didn't. It was interesting because the whole frustration about this season is like, I know these were already animated. The sound-alike voice actors that they have replaced Herculean task. Not only replacing an iconic voice, but they have to lip sync to stuff that's already animated.
Right.
So it's like an even harder task than when you do it to animatics and then they're animating to your voice, you know?
Herculean.
So for
yeah.
Huh?
Herculean.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's not what you said.
Yeah, I said Herculean. What?
Go. Continue.
What do you want, Red Solo Cup? Okay, whatever. First episode of Rick and Morty was so-so.
Sure.
Guest starred Hugh Jackman. It was all right. It was not the best Rick and Morty episode ever. Hardly featured any Morty, so it's really hard to gauge how the new actor does for that, but there's a lot of Rick. And it was good. I think after a certain point in the episode, you're like, okay, this is going to work. I think it'll get.
This is the new normal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then second episode was actually fantastic. Very well written, really good. Once again, Not a lot of Morty. Very curious. Reddit people are going crazy with theories. Reanimated and they made it less Morty so they catch up. And I was like, bitch, they already animated these episodes. That's not how it worked. It just happened to be the 2 episodes they showed us were
Rick heavy.
Low.
Yeah.
Which I get is unusual given that the show is called Rick and Morty.
Right.
But, yeah, second episode was a fantastic episode. I think the thing for me is the new Rick actor sounds so much like Rick 90% of the time that when there's
one that's
like
off,
one line or two, like it definitely like hits you as like, oh,
right,
that's not quite right, you know? But like, I'm willing to persevere through the season.
Sure.
And give these actors the benefit of the doubt, especially as casting process, and they were selected for a reason, you know. Yeah, I think it's going to be good. There was something that was pointed out on Reddit that I do feel is particularly accurate, because one of the things I've been doing this week, a lot of streaming service, is I've been going back and rewatching old Rick and Morty's as of me eating dinner tonight. So something I agree with Reddit on is there's a particular way that Justin Roiland did Rick, insulting someone but sounding smart, but then having a little bit of a, I don't know, like a squeeze on his voice to like make his voice, instead of like being like straight, like kind of doing a wavy hand motion here. Don't know if that communicates, but that's what I'm communicating, and that's something that I feel either the new voice actor hasn't done yet, or is perhaps incapable of doing that because he has to match lip sync, which I can only imagine. So we'll see. I hope they definitely get better. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know about Morty yet, because I've heard like one line from him in each episode. That's not a lot to go on, man. That's not a lot at all.
You nailed your 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. That doesn't tell me shit.
Right.
You know, but I do feel that the new Rick actor is a really good Rick none of the time.
Sure.
And I think that that's a high margin, and it'll obviously get better as they start writing with the new voice in mind. Something that I have noticed that I didn't notice initially going back through the Rick and Morty episodes is Justin Roiland as Rick will like throw in random burps as the character is talking. Most likely because he was actually inebriated, well documented. And there's just none of that in the new season. And like when I started, it wasn't apparent to me at all. But as I've been rewatching the old seasons, I was like, he actually does that a lot. And there's literally none of that in the new season so far. And I'm guessing that that was probably a cut change to the dialogue, because it's not something that this actor. We'll see. It's a little nitpicky, but I have faith. You know, but like anything else, check in with me. Me and the wife started watching a new show. It's a limited series on Apple TV called The Chemistry of Fuck. To Google.
You're asking me about the one service I don't subscribe to.
Lessons in Chemistry.
Okay.
Cool. I saw a trailer for it. I thought it looked interesting. It's like a period piece thing. It has Brie Larson. I was like, that looks interesting.
Yeah.
And then Jessica flipped her shit because she's like, oh my God, I read the book. The book's so fucking good. We have to watch this right fucking now. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we're current on that show, on episode 4. Because it's the typical Apple thing where it's a new show, so 3 episodes out, and then weekly. We're on the weekly train. But it's a really well-made show. I'm not entirely sure how to parse what type of tone it is. So it's 50s, about a girl who has her chemistry degree, but not her maths. Where people teach the basically only extent,
right?
But she's smarter than that.
Yeah, heaven forbid women get ahead in the 50s.
Yeah. So there's like a bunch of the usual 50s sexist, classist, gender shit.
Yep.
So it's I don't know. It's kind of Mad Men-y, but it also kind of vaguely reminds me of the way Oppenheimer was filmed.
Okay.
But I'm not entirely sure. And it also kind of plays around with time a bit. Like the opening shot of the show is like her on a TV show teaching the nation and moms at home how to bake something.
Right.
I'm like, how did she get here? You know, and then it cuts to her in a lab. And I'll say this, a lot happens in each episode. It does not feel slow in the slightest. And I guess that's also probably part because of it is a limited series, but it's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm probably not enjoying it.
Sure.
The only other thing I could say about it that stands out is, and I don't mean score, is like really fucking good. And I noticed it right away, and I was like, who the fuck composed this? And I looked it up, and it was some fucking composer I'd never fucking heard of. He's done like 4 things, but he's already won 2 Emmys and a Grammy. And I was like, who the fuck is this dude? Because he is composing the shit out of this weird little show. Music's really good. I'm just saying, top tier.
I was curious about the show. Good. Like I've seen the trailers.
It's good.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's a drama would be the genre.
I might have to trade you Apple passwords for Hulu passwords.
Will that work cross state lines?
Yeah.
Will Hulu be a bitch about that?
Yeah, Hulu's fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, things can be arranged.
Yar.
Because that's as close to a pirate as you'll get.
As you will get. I will straight download this shit and send it to you in files.
Of which I would not accept. Anyways.
He says.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's it for entertainment. I heard a rumor. Oh, there was some shit with the Daredevil Born Again thing.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to post this, but I did read about it. I'm remembering it. So, Daredevil Born Again has a new showrunner. Apparently, whoever the guy was who show ran the Punisher TV series on Netflix.
Okay.
What I know. That's it.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Fork Fam, for getting another episode. Not the last one.
Yeah, this episode will be titled "Surprise, We're Not Dead."
I'm not dead yet. I feel happy. Monty Python, Holy Grail. Yeah.
It was like one of the few things we had on our bookshelf that was like this weird anthology of VHS tapes.
You know what's funny is that ties back into the intro when we were counting it, and you said 5, and I said 5 is right out.
See, I didn't get it then.
Right. Now you do.
I think the reason being is I think the Monty Python movies are funny. I did not enjoy the TV show. And maybe I saw them too young, or maybe they were actually bad. I'm not sure because I haven't been back.
I enjoyed skits here and there, but yeah, on the whole,
movies were much better.
Yes.
Hands down. All right, this has been another episode of the Fork in Your Podcast Gamer. Tim K. Trotter signing off. Until next time, definitely not dead. That's me, and that's Nate, who's been yawning away the hours for the last fucking 45 minutes. He's ready to go home and go to bed. Oh, wait, he is home. Kick the switch off and
get forked. I will fork you a second time.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
This is Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamicworks production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.
Hello, sir.
Oh, hi.
Now you can
There
hear
you
me.
are.
Yeah, I know. I was on my phone and it was being
Shit.
stupid.
And now there you go.
Look, yeah, there I go.
Okay, so I just ran a test to make sure my audio was coming through, and I totally got you.
Yeah, you're
But
good.
now I can't hear you when I'm running the recorder.
Wait, you can't hear me? Can you not hear me?
I can't hear you at all. Like you're completely. Like so, as soon as I stop this recorder, I bet you I can hear you. Is something? No, you're not gonna
Fuck's
say
sake,
something?
Tim.
Oh, now I can hear you. Okay, let's see.
Dang a dang a ding a dong ding.
What's wrong for starters? This what? Microphone, speakers, headphones. Okay. Try something else. Then say something.
Check 1 2 1 2 4 5 8 3
That's clearly
2
recording
1.
audio, but I can't hear it. Awesome.
Can you not hear me?
Okay.
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I hear you. But I'm not.
Okay, you can hear me.
I can hear you sometimes.
Okay, good.
So, hey there. Then if I hit this, do I lose you again?
I don't know. Do you? Do you hear me now?
I do, out of one ear, which is
God.
normal, but whatever. Alright, Logiteching. Apparently supports some Millennium Falcon peripheral now. That's cool. Worthless.
Flux capacitor is fluxing.
System preference. Audio hijacking. The rejack edition. Grab a libation.
Ooh, look at those sexy legs. A little ASMR. No. We are not doing a Windows update right now. Nope. Nope. And nope. Yeah. Go away. There we go. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Nate.
How you doing?
I'm alive. I'll make rent.
Oh, good. That's a nice.
Fucking something.
That's something.
Yeah, but all the type of cheese do you?
Excuse you? Is this show content before we get into this?
Maybe.
Okay. Do you want to save it for life
Fine.
story?
I will.
Okay. Instead of
Sure.
outtakes, do you want to count us in?
5.
4. 5 is right out.
3.
2.
This is before I started drinking for a show.
Right. Yay. And 1.
Okay. 2, 1.
Cut in.
Cut in.
Not bad, actually.